Okay. We'll call this meeting to order. The Sacramento City Council. Clerk, please call the roll.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Kaplan is expected momentarily. Councilmember Dickinson. Here. Vice Mayor Talamantes. Here. Councilmember Pluckybaum is expected momentarily. Councilmember Maple.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra. Here. Councilmember Jennings. Here. And Councilmember Vang. Here. And Mayor McCarty.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Talamantes, can you lead us in the pledge and land acknowledgement?
Please rise for the opening acknowledgments in honor of Sacramento's indigenous people and tribal lands. To the original people of this land, the Nisenan people, the Southern Maidu, Valley and Plains Miwok, Patwin Wintu peoples, and the people of Wilton Rancheria, Sacramento's only federally recognized tribe. May we acknowledge and honor the Native people who came before us and still walk beside us today on these ancestral lands by choosing to gather together today in the active practice of acknowledgement and appreciation for Sacramento's indigenous people's histories, contributions, and lives. Thank you. Salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
With liberty and justice for all someday.
City Attorney, do you have a report out from closed session?
Nothing to report out.
Thank you. First item?
So, Mayor, our first item is a special presentation, Early Arbor Day Celebration, presented by Vice Mayor Talamantes, Mayor Pro Tem Guerra, and Councilmember Vang.
Okay, I'm happy to kick this off. So can all the representatives, and also we can get everybody to have a seat so that we're not blocking the entrance to the doors for safety purposes. Can I please get all the representatives from city staff and our tree partners to please come up to the podium? So today we're celebrating and recognize Arbor Day. As the forever city of trees and city of allergies, Sacramento has been a steward of trees since its founding. I'd like to give a shout out to former Councilmember Ray Trethaway, who's a constituent of mine, whose license plate reads trees. And a huge thank you to our Parks Commissioner, Robbie Robbins, who does so much work in the neighborhood. And thank you to Dennis Harris and Sarah Muser of YPC. For this year, we held two tree plantings, one at Jefferson Park and one at Garland Park, with Yipsy and Rewild Sacramento, who has been doing a lot of events across the city of Sacramento, and SMUD and the Sacramento Tree Foundation, who donates trees, not just to my district, but across the city of Sacramento, and have recruited many people. So just want to give you guys an acknowledgement and thank you so much for what you do, and looking forward to hearing what my colleagues have to say. And I'm happy to report that my tree named Karma at Northgate Park is still alive. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you, Vice Mayor, for leading us off today. And very excited about Arbor Day. Arbor Day actually started by J. Sterling Morton, who's a journalist. And the whole focus of Arbor Day wasn't about recognizing the tree canopy we have today, but more about what legacy are we leaving for the future. As many folks have always told us, and when the question is asked, Francesca's asked it before, when's the best time to plant a tree? And it was 30 years ago was the best time to plant a tree. It wasn't today, And so for us, it's about what legacy are we really leaving for our future. And, an important thing about Arbor Day also is recognizing about equity and where we plant trees and which neighborhoods don't have them, which ones do have them. And clearly in our city of Sacramento, we've seen which areas have, a heat island effect, and then which ones have a rich amount of trees. And it's one of those where we know that if we plant trees, we create shady places where people can run and walk during hot days, which means young people can get out and get the exercise that they need. Joggers get out there, people meet each other. So it's more than just about having tree canopy, but it creates great places for people to get together and get to know each other. So I'm excited again to support this effort, and most importantly to thank not only our city staff who do this, but our community members, our nonprofits, and people who are leaving a legacy not for today, but for the next 30 years. So thank you very much, Vice Mayor and Mayor, for allowing us to do this resolution and presentation.
Thank you, Councilmember Vang.
Great, I'll close it off, but I see that Councilmember Dickinson's in the queue as well. Really, really proud to join Vice Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem in recognizing Arbor Day. In particular, I really want to thank all the community partners, our residents, city staff, who actually make our Sacramento urban forest really possible, especially in areas that have been historically underinvested, that's more vulnerable to extreme heat. In District 8, I know we see this firsthand, but we also see how partnerships are so vital to the work that we do. I want to give a shout out to the Meadowview Urban Tree Project and also Rewild Sacramento, two organizations that's deeply rooted in our community and is committed to increasing tree canopy. And I also want to take this moment to thank all of our incredible staff at YPSI as well. In particular, I want to give a shout out to Dennis, who's here, who's standing up there. He and his heart and all the volunteer coordination, he's always having so much fun doing the planting tree demonstration every single event that I go to. Thank you so much for all the work that you do in YPSI and just making it so welcoming. Every single gathering, every single tree planting has been a joy because of you, so thank you so much for your work. Since November, YPSI has hosted over 36 events, planting over 500 trees, including in District 8, about 144 trees right in District 8, so I want to just name that. And what I love most about these events is that it's not just a place for volunteers just to plant trees, but it's actually becoming like gathering spaces for us. And so I just want to thank community partners, again, all our community partners, city staff, but all the volunteers that show up to our tree planting event. It is helping us make Sacramento healthier and more connected. And so just really proud to join both of my colleagues today to support, to recognize Arbor Day.
Thank you. Councilmember Dickinson?
Thanks, Mayor. I just want to extend my thanks to my colleagues for leading this recognition of Arbor Day. I want to make note that Ray Trethewey was in fact here our last meeting, and he had a mix-up on calendar, so I don't see him this afternoon. But we celebrated Arbor Day a couple weeks ago early with him quietly after the meeting. But I wanted just to add a word, having been a board member for the Tree Foundation over 2 stints, going back originally to the 1980s, believe it or not, and then more recently in the 2010s, and then had the true joy of planting a few trees in my lifetime. But you know what I think about most when I'm engaged in one of these tree plantings, and I think we had at least 4 in District 2 this year, Dennis, is that about? I think that's at least 4. Is not just how they beautify our landscape, but as alluded to earlier, how they help us save energy, how they are good for the climate, how they improve the mental and emotional state of people who get to enjoy the trees. So I think lots of times we just think about them, isn't that a pretty tree? But there's so much more to it, and you all, of course, realize and recognize that. So I just wanted to add my thanks for all the work that you're doing. I've got my City of Trees pin on today, so I am just very, very delighted to be able to celebrate this occasion with all of you and join in thanking you for all the work, and as Councilmember Vang alluded to as well, all the volunteers who show up and make a tree planting work. Whether it's in the parks or along the bike trails or it's in their own home yards. Thanks.
Councilmember Jennings.
Much has been said already, and I don't want to repeat any of it, but I want to bring you joy and greetings from 6 grandchildren who planted their own trees in the parks, and they named them. And every single time that they come back to Sacramento from where they live on the East Coast and in Southern California, they come back, Ricky, Leani, Lila, Brinkley, Bailey, Bear. They all come back, they water their trees, they feed their trees, they show love to their trees, they take a picture with their tree to see who's grown more, the tree or them. But anyway, you just have brought such great joy to their hearts. And I know that there are thousands of other kids who have the same kind of joy, not only the kids, but parents as well, because you have done such a great job of helping them to understand how important trees are to us here in Sacramento and to our communities. So thank you for everything you do. Keep spreading the love. Keep making sure that kids as well as parents learn the importance of planning something that will last a lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Member. Of course, we're all for celebrating Arbor Day. We are, after all, the city of trees. And Councilmember Jennings, we need to follow up on fixing that water tower out there, because we're the city of trees. I know I asked this a few months ago, so I'll let you know about later, City Manager, but it's a little bit of a touchy subject, but it's
Very
time.
controversial subject.
No, it's time. There's a mandate. We're the city of trees. We're moving forward. We're excited you're here, and I know you have one representative. We have a busy day, but one of you want to come and talk to us about the effort and the coalition to support our trees and Arbor Day. Who's the representative?
Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. I'm Kevin Hawker. I'm the urban forester for the city of Sacramento, and the rest of the staff is feeling a little shy, so I'm going to just use their time to just thank you, and really can't say it better than what all of you have already said. And Sacramento has a tradition of planting trees that goes way before Arbor Day, before Morton Sterling. It's in our blood. Every day is Arbor Day for us. But I'd just like to take a moment to acknowledge our accomplishments. This has been a really good year for us tree-wise. We did our urban forest plan. Council has given some resources that we've been able to accelerate our tree planting and our tree maintenance efforts. And Parks planted over 500 trees. Other people planted about as much. Got about 1,000 trees out there. I don't know if everybody knows this, but if we put all our trees together, it would cover 19 square miles. And the trees that got planted this last year will increase that by about 1%. And that's actually a big number. And none of this would be possible without all the volunteers, all the help, all the coordination. Really want to appreciate Dennis's efforts in coordinating those volunteer events. Apparently, we had a volunteer event every weekend from November till last weekend. And we're already booked. We're almost entirely booked up through next season as well. So these are big things, and we really appreciate all the people who made it possible, all our partners. None of this would have been possible without them.
Hello, my name is Francesca Ritano. I'm on the steering committee of Trees for Sacramento, and my colleague Karen Jacques is from D4, and she's also on the steering committee. And what I wanted to do is thank the mayor and the council, especially Vice Mayor Talamantes, Mayor Pro Tem Guerra, and council members Vang and Dickinson for their advocacy for our city's urban forest plan. We also want to thank Rachel Patton and city staff for all their work on the plan, including advocacy and education. Not to forget Lucinda Wilcox, even though she retired. Our urban forest belongs to all of us on city land and much of it on private and residential land. And Trees for Sacramento has been advocating for 10 years to preserve and grow Sacramento's urban forest.
And we now have a very ambitious goal with the urban forest plan. 35% equitable canopy, and I underline equitable, by 2045. And we want to especially thank council members Guerra and Bang for adding a working group of concerned tree-loving residents to the urban forest plan so that we can continue to work with our staff to successfully meet that goal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. My name is Sada, and I'm here representing the Meadowview Urban Tree Project. I want to start off mentioning that Sacramento is indeed historically known as City of Trees, but that isn't reflected across all our neighborhoods. Meadowview, for example, is one of the city's largest neighborhoods, but has one of the lowest tree canopy coverages at just 12%. Like Meadowview, underserved neighborhoods across Sacramento experience fewer safe, comfortable spaces for community gatherings, outdoor activities, poor air quality and increased risk of heat-related illnesses. The rising temperatures annually also contribute to higher energy costs and added stress. So this isn't just about trees, it's about public health and equity. Our organization, Meadowview Urban Tree Project, works to address this by providing resources to help care for existing trees, advocating to expand tree canopy, and working alongside residents and other community-based organizations to build a healthier, more climate-resilient South Sacramento. I want to especially acknowledge the founders of MUTP, Ron Brazel and Jeff Solomon here, for their consistent advocacy on the ground over the past several years. Their leadership is a big part of why this effort continues to grow. I also want to take a moment to appreciate the ongoing partnership between the city staff and our community. Just this past Earth Day weekend, MUTP worked alongside city partners, and over 150 volunteers came to plant more than 40 trees along Meadowview Trail. That kind of turnout shows people care and want to be part of the solution. We also appreciate the city's urban forest plan and its emphasis on prioritizing underserved neighborhoods, and we encourage continued investment in long-term canopy expansion in South Sacramento. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Certainly, we're pleased. Do you want to do a picture down there? We're good. Yeah. One more speaker? One more, okay.
I'd like to say thank you to Mai Vang and Alexis Diaz for the invite, and thank you, City Council, for recognizing trees as valued pillars of our communities. My name is Jelly, and I'm a volunteer with Rewild Sacramento. Our small group of volunteers has been fortunate in being able to participate in some of the many tree plantings that the Youth Parks and Community Enrichment completes during the planting season. We also have an ongoing project of restoring a portion of Sutter's Landing with native plants if anyone wants to get involved with that. All of the groups and people here and not here who have been doing this important environmental work are just fantastic, and we've been so fortunate to collaborate with them. Thank you so much, Dennis and Jody, for all of your hard work and dedication to make our parks more biodiverse, beautiful, and enjoyable. There are so many people doing the work on the ground, and here's just a short list of people to shout out. Alex Bink is the founding arborist of Rewild Sacramento. Dominic Alamano is a fruit tree maven. Brianna Reynolds is a naturalist and educator. Steve Swigert has been working to conserve open space. And as a final little cheesy statement, I want to point out that we are nature, we are not separate. Living things have been resilient through ongoing collaborations. We all have an important role in looking after each other and the environment that we share. Let's keep asking important questions and taking imperfect action towards our solutions. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Yep, we'll go down there.
I want to recognize Jess Sanders, too, who's here as the Executive Director of the Tree Foundation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then, you guys can join us for a photo.
We get to go with the mayor.
Everyone want to squish in a little bit?
One, two, three.
Here, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Sada, let's get a picture of you three, of you, Councilmember, and Jeff. Right here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Yep, please proceed.
So Mayor and Council, we now move to the consent calendar. Are there items that the council wishes to pull or have comments on? Vice Mayor Talamantes?
Can we pull item number 29 and hear that separately?
Thank you. Councilmember Dickinson?
Just items 6 and 11 for quick comment.
Councilmember Kaplan?
Item number 17 for questions, as well as 27, 32, and 33.
And Councilmember Maple?
Quick comments on 1 and 2.
Seeing no one else queued up, Councilmember Maple, you want to make your comments on both 1 and 2?
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Quickly, I would like to, once we pass this consent calendar, congratulate our new District 5 Animal Wellbeing Commissioner. We're so proud to welcome Brenda Contreras. She's a proud first-generation Latina and daughter of Mexican immigrants. She moved to Sacramento 5 years ago to pursue a career in public service, and we're so thrilled to have her now on the Animal Wellbeing Commission. She's a proud resident of the Brentwood neighborhood. She lives with her partner and her very cute adopted pit bull mix Kobe that she welcomed from the Front Street Animal Shelter. So we always congratulate and welcome people to adopt from our very own shelter. And so we're very thrilled to have her. Welcome, Brenda.
Okay.
Do you want me to move on to item 2?
Yes,
okay.
please.
Item 2, our Active Transportation Commission. I have a reasonable suspicion that some people in the audience are here to speak on this, but just want to, thank our Active Transportation Commission for all their work. They put together a wonderful report. It's a great read. And one of the things that I've appreciated the most about the commission is that they not only come up with very actionable ideas and recommendations for this council, they also attach dollar amounts to them. So it makes it a little bit easier for us to be able to attach the dollars and cents to the ideas and what they mean in practicality in the community. And so I'm really thankful for that. In my role on the Budget Audit Commission, or committee, along with my other members here, we did discuss bringing back to this council a discussion of what it would take to fund those recommendations. So I look forward to that conversation. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move to Councilmember Dickinson on items 6 and 11.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I just wanted to underscore item 6, the El Camino Avenue Vision Zero Safety program, just for a moment. This is not a huge item. It's a budgetary adjustment, but as the staff report notes, this is a corridor which is one of the highest for fatalities and injuries for bicycles, pedestrians, and motor vehicles. We had a pedestrian fatality not very long ago on El Camino, and it's really a raceway through North Sacramento. So whatever we can do here to slow traffic down and make it safer is going to be a significant benefit to the community, and I'm very appreciative of the work being done with respect to reaching that goal. On item 11, I wanted to give a shout out to John Febo and the solid waste staff for working with the county staff to allow all our residents, when they get their coupon for a free trip to the dump, to take all their junk, and that coupon should be coming out in the next month or two, that they now will be able not just to go to the south area to access the dump, but they'll be able to go to the county's north area transfer station, which is on Roseville Road and is much closer for those of us who are north of the river. So hopefully that will stimulate even more people to take advantage of that free coupon, to go to that convenient location, help clean up our streets and our community in general. But this is the kind of common sense cooperation between the city and the county of Sacramento that is very welcome to see. And I'm glad to have it here to approve today. Thanks.
Thank you.
Let's go to Councilmember Kaplan. Questions on 17?
So just question, Madam City Manager, because while this is under our Department of Human Services, just a question, because this is a contract for professional services with a fiduciary consulting group for retirement plans and consulting services. Just pointing it out and questioning, this is an outside contract for not to exceed $250,000. Like, do we actually need this? We're in the middle of a budget deficit, and just asking, you know, do we need to move forward as a pause? Is this actually going to be a return on investment?
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember Kaplan. This is actually for our deferred comp plan, so this is actually something we need outside resources to enable to do.
Perfect. Just wanted to make sure we asked that question, because sometimes you can see outside consulting services and wonder, why is the city doing this in a budget deficit? So I appreciate that. Moving on to items 27, 32, 33. Mr. Pedro, a couple questions for you. These are specifically dealing with the contracts that require a 2/3 vote for the Meadowview Navigation Center and X Street, as well as emergency bridge shelter housing at the Grove and Roseville Road campus operations. Just want to understand a little bit, because we talk about HAP funding that we get from the state, and we know as a city we are facing budget deficits, and we got significantly less HAP funding for round 6, but I get a little confused because I think on item 27, I think it says we're getting funding from HAP 2, 3, 4, 5, it's 2, 4, 5, and 6. So part of my question is when I see that, I actually don't know what's the status of our funding, what's left, and how are we allocating this funding?
Sure. So most of our HAP funding, 1 through 5, is either completely expended or will be very soon if we get this passed. But what we did with these contracts is literally picked up the crumbs from each HAP spending leftovers that we had. So so 1 through 3 is pretty much all spent. We had that little bit, that 16,000 from HAP 3 that we added to this. 95% of our HAP 4 is spent. Also to note that our HAP funding, we also have OIED that gets a percentage for permanent supportive housing, so then the other portion is ours. So that piece that's left is some permanent supportive housing money. And then on HAP 5, we have about 80% of that spent. The leftover is carved out for prevention, the $2 million that we're doing for prevention, a little bit for admin, and then some for permanent supportive housing. So all that said, we're using every piece of 2, 3, 4. We're up to 5 right now with almost all of that spent. And then we just got 6 allocated, and we're already starting to dive into 6 and allocate that.
So with HAP 5, we got approximately 27 million, and with HAP 6, we're getting 16 million.
Correct.
How are we going to pay for this, knowing that we are basically getting $11 million less in state funding? Because I see these programs, and we've cobbled this together, but what is the plan, especially since it appears there's some expansion, but yet we don't have the money unless it comes from our general fund? So what is the plan?
Yeah, so part of that was for the last couple of years, all the renegotiating and the money saved on renegotiations of all of our contracts. And then the other part of that is our budget cut proposal for this budget cycle is to cut X Street shelter and then the $3.2 million off of the city motel program, which coincides with switching that over to the voucher program. So trying to stay a step ahead. It will keep our motel program at the 200 mark with the new structuring of it. So even with that $3.2 million hit on the motel program, we'll still be able to get through and using HAP 6 for next year, because we do have that skip year for HAP 7 coming in.
So question, which I'm glad you brought that up, because when we look at the data of the success of X Street, you know, it begs the question, specifically on page 3 of 5 on item 27, the last kind of like 2 paragraphs, can you explain to me, it says that the X Street Navigation Center from 21 to 25 served 1,086 people, but only 174 exited to positive destinations, and 15 of those were into permanent housing. So only like 14.6 return on investment, which when you look at the success of other programs, this one is our least successful. But it says since July 2025, the shelter has served also 1,186. So can you explain? Because it's 4 years was 1186 and 1 year is 1186?
That's an error on the agenda that we're going to put in an edit to fix the numbers on that, because I noticed that as well. So this year was 285 served.
Okay. And then, so if it's 285, then is it correct that 278 exited to positive destinations and 239 went to service providers, because that's more?
Right, so it was 285, and then 29 exited the program to positive destinations, and 18 to permanent housing.
Councilmember, can you show us where you're reading from so we can follow along too?
Yeah, it's page 3 of 5 on the staff report for item 27.
27.
Yes. So it's basically where it says since July 2025, which is the second to the last paragraph, that will be updated to reflect accurate data numbers, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And as you just stated, wanting to just make sure that that was clear, because I was reading that and I was like, wow, then why are we closing if we've all of a sudden had that? So moving on to emergency housing shelter at the Grove. Question, because in each one of these we talk about how the PIT count from 2024 noticed a decrease in those that are unhoused. But if we look at our COC and what's being served, those numbers don't match to actually less individuals being housed. And we know the PIT count numbers are going to come up. How are we looking at that? Because I feel like it's a little bit of misleading to the community to continuously say we had a reduce in numbers, but if you compare to what the COC is serving and others, it really doesn't look like that. And the sad part is we touted that and the state saw that, so then we got less HAP funding, which actually hurt us instead of being able to serve. How are we working as a city if those PIT numbers come back up?
Oh, big question there. So obviously trying to keep track of every individual that we get housed or that we get to an improved exit and a one-night PIT count, that's a challenge, right? So the PIT is to keep a standard throughout. We're going to change it to every year, but to keep a standard, the PIT is that one point in time count that we're doing every year to try and gauge something. What we've done over the last couple of years is really connected with almost everybody in our community and have them in our HMIS system. So the more that we get into the HMIS system, the more actual names. That being said, just being in the HMIS system doesn't mean that you're homeless. It means that you have reached out to the system and requested some type of service or asked for some type of help. So the challenge is, how do you take the numbers from HMIS of who's asking for service and a one-night PIT and determine what your count is?
And I appreciate that, because I'm asking these questions to also highlight the disconnect from the COC, the data we get, the bigger conversation we're having tonight, but also look, because these on consent, we're actually obligating money without having a further conversation that is looking at all of these, of what's successful and what's not successful. And I think the council needs to have a policy conversation, because I think staff is going and doing their best. But also, I potentially happen to disagree that our hotel motel program is our most successful. So why are we limiting it where we know the sheds being built are not as successful? X Street is not as successful. So shouldn't the council look at the money we have, knowing we're getting $9 million less from the state, and have a policy conversation of which programs on data are most successful and direct how we spend the money, knowing that our PIT count's gonna go up, how we do the PIT count versus HMIS versus COC. It's a lot of information that I know our staff and the county and SHRA are all trying to work together to figure this out, but it shows a little bit of the disconnect that I think as a council, we need to give clearer direction on what we're doing. Because turning to item 32, which is the emergency bridge shelter housing at Grove Avenue, we know that is actually one of our most successful. And part of the Grove is that when our transitional age youth come in, they're required to accept services. And I think that's a policy conversation we as a council need to have, that if people are taking services or shelter from the city, we know that it's not just housing, but it's housing and services that have the most positive impact. So should we as a council start looking at if you come into and accept housing, you have to accept services and maybe not make it optional, because the Grove, if you look at its data, has served 184 people since May 2025. 134 have exited the program. That's 72% have exited, but also I don't know where the 27.2 went. I think it would be good to know. And then I think we're doing a little bit of misleading in the data, because on page 2 of the staff report, it says 29 transitional age youth exited to a positive destination, and it says 22. But in reality, you're just looking at the 134, not the 184. And so I think that's also us not being honest. If only 29 of the 184 exited, that's 15.7%, not 22. And if 59% of our transitional age youth exited to permanent housing, that's only 32%, not 44. And I think that's another direction of council needs to express. How are we looking at data? Because data can be different. Are we just looking at who exited? Are we looking at the total served and making sure each bit of data from each program, we're analyzing the right way? So, and then that goes to item Roseville Road campus. I know we are looking to expand that, and we got $12 million from the state encampment resolution fund. When does that $12 million, which is different from HAT funding, when does that $12 million run out?
28, I believe we have that funded out to.
Okay, and then the city council just authorized 35 more additional units to be.
35, correct.
Now, when we authorized that, did we talk to the county to make sure that they had mental health individuals that could also handle the expansion of services needed?
Yes, we always talk to the county on services provided, and that's what they're obligated to provide for our shelters. So yes, that is a factor in this.
So the next question I have, that maybe for the city manager, I've talked to a couple board of supervisors, and they said that some of their budget cuts may impact the services that they're able to give. So have we coincided those two pieces of conversation? If we're looking to expand, I think as a city, we can't just make an assumption, especially from staff to staff. You're doing your job, but I think also we need to say, are those services actually there? Or as they're looking at budget cuts, will they not be able to provide the services agreed upon? And I think, that's a disconnect that we haven't talked about. But also, I really appreciate saying out loud, so 2028, that's emergency relief funding that we no longer are going to have from the state. That's continued, and how many units do we have out at Roseville Road?
We have about 200.
that we are in a deficit will potentially have to be up for closing. I know Oakland's already closed several of their emergency, shelter units and parking because they don't have operational costs and they've gotten less HAP funding. I think we need to have that one big conversation because we've relied on HAP and we've relied on general funding, but 2028 is just around the corner for more people that we can't afford to continue to provide services for that are going to be ending up unhoused, which is fortuitous that we're having the conversation at 5 o'clock today, but I want to just thank my colleagues for letting me bring this up now on consent because I didn't want these to go through without highlighting that there are several disconnects that we at the council are not getting together to have a comprehensive conversation that I think we need to have in order to make a wise decision that is in the best interest of the city and the unhoused that we are serving. So, I would hope going forward, we could see that, and then how we're looking at data, I would want to look at it in a slightly different way. And I appreciate you answering the questions as I frame them. So thank you.
Thank you.
And just a quick comment on the HAP funding has a requirement for that to be a voluntary. That is why those services are voluntary on that. I agree with you that we should have something that is not voluntary, but that is attached to that funding.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
And before you step away, you, on item 27, you mentioned that there was a typo on page 3 of 5 of the staff report. Does that affect any of the agreements?
That's only on the report.
On the staff report, thank you. I appreciate that. Mayor, I have 10 speakers for consent, with the exception of item 29.
Okay.
I do want to read to the record that we amended the agenda today and item 26 was withdrawn, and that will come back in the next few weeks. So we have 10 speakers. The first is Isaac Gonzalez on item 2, Sherry Martinez on item 2, Mark Harmon on item 2, Alexandria Tallman on item 15. Please proceed.
Okay, I didn't see the time up there. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. My name is Isaac Gonzalez, and I am the chair of the Active Transportation Commission and the founder of Slow Down Sacramento. I'm here today on behalf of Nalij Islam, Jonathan Slaw, Adrian Johnson, Cornelius Jesse, Vong Nguyen, Zachary Taylor, Nalia Sanchez, William Akins, Ernesto Torres, Zhen Khan, Thong Fan Zhang Caleb Green, Hung Nguyen, Robert Michael Piscini Jr., Kimberly Pickett, Paris Winham, Michael Driscoll, Mohammed Durrani, Omar Durrani, Hashmatullah Durrani, Ricky Ray Reyes, Nathan Thomas, Jeremy Robinson, James Little, Alicia Barnes, Nita Franklin, Gerald Hall, Bilal, Kyle Silvers, Randy Perez, David Zolander, and Naheem Sie. The people who died in 2025 in Sacramento on our dangerous streets. Please fund the 2025 Active Transportation Commission recommendations in full. Thank you.
Please proceed.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry. Hello, my name is Sherry Martinez. I am involved in the grassroots organization Slow Down Sacramento. I am also an active member of the American River Bike Patrol. I'm a team leader. But today I represent a community of cyclists called West Coast Wednesday Bike Ride Community. We have over 25 cyclists, and we are all Sacramento residents spread out throughout the different districts. Today is about whether Sacramento is serious about saving lives. The City Council is set to receive and file the 2025 Active Transmission Commission Annual Report. This sounds routine. It's not. This report lays out exactly what needs to be done to make our streets safer. It includes real, implementable solutions such as traffic calming, quick build projects, safer crossings, safe routes to school, and policies that reduce deadly conflicts on our roads. And it comes with a clear price tag, about $8.2 million in the first year. Let's be honest about what that means. We are constantly told that it is a tough budget year and that cuts are coming, that we have to make hard choices. That is not our job. Our job as advocates is to be clear about what is needed to stop people from dying on our streets. More than 30 people a year are dying in Sacramento in preventable traffic crashes. That is not acceptable. That is not inevitable. And it will not change unless we fund the solutions we already know work. This is where the Vision Zero either becomes real or stays a slogan. We don't get there with memorials. We don't get there with statements. We get there by funding and implementing these recommendations with urgency. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark?
Hello, I'm Mark Harmon, and I'm a resident of Sacramento, and I've lived in Land Park for 25 years. I'm also in Rick Jennings' district. For decades, city planners and traffic engineers have prioritized fast car speeds over everything else in building our infrastructure. Now we have some of the highest car accident rates, cyclist and pedestrian fatality rates in the state. We always have to make hard budget decisions, but when we are creating a safe city for everyone, safety should be our most basic priority. Without safety, Sacramento cannot thrive in the future. I urge you to fully fund and not file the 2026 Active Transportation Commission's recommendations to City Council. They are designed to make Sacramento safer at the most basic street level. Thank you for your time.
Alexandria Tallman on item 15, then Talal Osran on item 15. Please proceed.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Alexandria Tolman, and I'm a law student at McGeorge School of Law. I'm currently enrolled in local government housing law, where this semester we're required to come make a public comment at a city council meeting. So I'm here in support of item 15, the local housing trust fund allocation resolution. Sacramento is facing a housing crisis that goes beyond simply building more units. The real issue is whether the city has the ability to consistently fund housing that is actually affordable for low and very low income residents. Many of the people most impacted by this crisis are not just priced out of market, but completely excluded from it. The city has already taken steps to address this through tools like the Housing Trust Fund fee, which connects development to housing production, but this approach alone is limited. It depends on the development activity, and it doesn't generate funding at the scale needed to fully address the problem. That is why this resolution is really important. It allows the city, through SHRA, to access additional state funding and leverage existing local resources to expand the total amount of funding available for affordable housing. In a city that's operating under real financial constraints, this kind of layered funding strategy is not just helpful, it's necessary. At the same time, I want to emphasize that this should be viewed as one step within a broader strategy. Reliance on development-based fees and external funding sources creates instability, especially when economic conditions change or state funding decreases. If Sacramento wants to make long-term progress on housing affordability, it will need to continue exploring more stable and consistent funding mechanisms in the future. Supporting this resolution means continuing to build on the tools the city already has and ensuring the available funding is not left unused. I encourage the City Council to adopt this resolution and continue prioritizing solutions that expand access to affordable housing for those who need it most. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Talal. Next speaker is Talal Arslan, then AJ. Talal's on 15, AJ's on 30, then BD on 30.
Excuse me one second. Good afternoon, Mayor McCartney and the rest of the City Council. I'm also a McGeorge Law student, also in my classmate Alexandria making a good point. I also support line item 15. I'm speaking in support for item 15. This is an administrative resolution, but the stakes are real. I think SHRA was awarded $5 million in local housing trust fund dollars from HCD, and $3.7 million of which is already committed to 65 new affordable units at Central Sacramento Studios Phase 2. The remaining $1.3 million cannot be drawn down without this updated resolution, which is why I strongly support it. These funds are not renewable. HCD announced in 2024 that it will no longer issue new LHTF funding rounds, and because of the program provides a dollar for dollar match to Sacramento's local housing trust fund, every dollar left on the table is $2 lost for affordable housing, which is extremely important. With $66.2 million structural budget deficit and state homelessness funding cut to zero this year, Sacramento cannot afford to leave matched affordable housing money unclaimed, which is why I urge this council to adopt this resolution, and thank you all for your time.
The next speaker is AJ on item 30, then BD on item 30.
My name is AJ Albano. I'm an organizer with the Sacramento Ticket Defense Clinic. We are a clinic that fights the criminalization of our unhoused neighbors through infraction tickets. Items 30 and 31, banning overnight parking at certain locations in this county or in the city, is just more of the same. You are continuing to criminalize unhoused people for being unhoused. I said this before in this room. There's no difference between criminalizing the status of being unhoused and criminalizing every single behavior that defines their status as being unhoused. People have no place to go. The vehicular unhoused neighbors that we have out there receive services. They seek services. They are not service resistant, as many people like to claim. They receive services from our community members. Continuing to use this criminalization disconnects people from the services that you claim that you want to connect them to. It deepens debt, it deepens distrust in the government, it deepens isolation, it breaks up communities. There is no reason to continue this process. It is enforcement and connection to services and connection to shelter are diametrically opposed processes. They're diametrically opposed. You are fighting against those connections to services and connections to housing by continuing to follow this repeatedly failed policy of enforcement. It doesn't work. It worsens the crisis. You're doing more to hurt it than you are to help it. And again, this is for both of these items. Please vote no on these.
Next speaker is BD. Next speaker is BD, then Michael Melton, then Samuel.
I gotta ask, what are we doing? You banned people from sleeping outside City Hall. You're arresting people left and right. You're sweeping the whole damn town. Shelters are booked beyond belief. Where do you expect people to sleep but whatever's available to them? Where are people supposed to go? Your myriad of court fees and parking infractions are literally driving people out of their cars. Health insurance plans are ballooning out of control. Grocery prices are shooting up. Like it or not, a whole lot of us are way closer or outright going into homelessness than ever before. You're pushing everyone into the gutter and pushing them even out of those. I see a vicious cycle here. People forced out from where they could stay before are funneled toward another place, where they then incur complaints from other people observing their homelessness, and then they make those complaints, rinse and repeat, same crappy process. Transit is expensive. You don't trek across town without loss along the way. And we haven't even gotten around to residents at Gateway Oaks Drive, where parking can be scarce. Are they also to suffer the loss of livelihood simply to engage in the ongoing punishment of homelessness? I implore that we think about what we're doing here, and I'm voting I would like you to vote no on this. Thanks, bye.
Michael Melton is speaking items 6, 15, 31, 32, and 33.
Y'all speaking on a few of them. Okay, look. I think you should say no to anything that Brian Pedro has going on. Everything he keeps doing is just taken from us, and nothing is coming back. There's nothing going on over there. You guys are either embezzling the money. I know you got your head up. You listen to me now. You've been having your head down the whole time. You guys keep on giving the funding to this guy, and nothing's happening. And other little stuff that's been working before costs less, and it's helping more people. You guys keep on doing the same thing. It's been the same thing. I'm gonna read what I'm saying, because it's like sleepy heads go by in Monopoly. We got a few people that are on to the trickeries going on. You know, then there's some people that's not. Oh, let the money. Oh, they got some money right there. They missing it. That's what's going on. Mr. Pedro is trying to embezzle Sacramento's money. He's asking a lot and doing the bare minimum. His housing plan sucks. We need a new director with a real plan and to help the people. But he continues to beg for money and allows price gouging. He's not running a motel program at all. I've been asking him about a motel program. You've been seeing me for over 2 years. I've been asking for a motel program. What's about the... Never gave me a lead to the hotel program yet. Not once. Okay? How many times have I been here? How many times have I asked him? I got his number. He don't call me back. I called Ryan Moore, the assistant manager, to check on what's going on, because he's retaliating against me for coming in here speaking about him. So, Ms. Smith, I need your help now. Ms. Smith, I need your help now. I need to speak to you now, because if his boss is the assistant manager, city manager, then you're the boss of that person. And this person right here is embezzling Sacramento's money, and he needs to be out of there. We need somebody else that, come on, we need help to really fund getting people off the streets, building.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Our next speaker is Samuel and then Lambert. I have 2 more speakers on the consent calendar. Lambert. Is Lambert here? Lambert, it's your turn to speak. Following, I have Samuel, then Lambert. Samuel? Yes, Samuel, and then Lambert. Please.
Hi, it's been a while. It's nice to see some familiar faces. My name is Samuel. My pronouns are they, them. I'm very uncomfortable right now. I'm not gonna lie. I have been struggling with homelessness for quite some time here in Sacramento. I'm a former Camp Resolution resident and used to come in these chambers quite a lot. And I highly encourage the council items 30 and 31 are really scary and jarring to people like myself. There's really nowhere for us to go without being criminalized and surveilled and targeted, and every day is really getting like too much. And policies like this do nothing except for like harm us more, especially like just how like every day how vicious the city and the county is. Thank you, is sweeping people. It's really inhumane and lacks compassion as a word that's used a lot. And so there's not a lot of impacted voices that get to be able to come out here, so I just wanted to have a face to the name. But yeah, my name is Samuel, I'm unhoused, and I wish better for our city.
Next speaker is Lambert.
Thank you. Okay.
Lambert is our final speaker on the consent calendar, with the exception of item 29.
I actually wasn't going to speak on the consent calendar because I know how the consent calendar works, but I know she's going to be really shocked when I send a shout out to her, because we have had issues, but today she touched me, and that's City Councilwoman Kaplan. What you talked about is exactly what's going on. You had the director up here, and you were asking him questions that he should be able to answer. There should be no confusion, no typos, no, well, I didn't see that or whatever. That's a dereliction of duty on display to me. I'm the one that says that at City Hall. It's too much money going through homeless for there to be discrepancies on where the money's going. I run a business. You can find out where the money's going. It's going to have to take an audit. And I don't mean the Sacramento City audit. The city auditors are outstanding. But it's going to have to take, because I'm a native, okay? I mean, I love Sacramento. Shout out to the Grant High School Pacers, because we get it done under pressure and we don't care about if we're popular or not. Now, you got a problem in that department because the money's coming in. And I remember him saying this, and it disturbed me. He said he missed the good old times of COVID money. And I came up after him and said, are you telling me that you would rather a pandemic come back and kill people so you can balance your budget? Is that what you're saying? So I'm with the gentleman who just left here, and shout out to City Councilwoman Kaplan, because it took courage to ask those kind of questions.
Mayor, I have no more speakers on the consent calendar. We pulled item 29 for a separate discussion.
Thank you. Before this item comes up, Vice Mayor Talamantes wanted to set the stage.
Sure. Should we entertain a motion on the remainder of the consent calendar before we
Please,
move
do
to
that.
item 29?
I'll
Yes.
second.
First and second on the remaining items on the consent calendar. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any noes or abstentions? Seeing none.
I would like to register a no vote on 30 and 31. Thank you.
No on 30 and 31, and Lucky Bomb absent.
Thank you.
Saying no on 30 and 31 as well.
Do you need any other direction, clerk?
And we
No.
Okay. So we did pull this off the consent calendar, and this is our immigration ban of ICE on city facilities. Just for some context for everyone, me, Councilmember Vang, and Councilmember Guerra have been working on this and the framework that we'll be introducing on Friday since November. So it's been a very long time in the making. And this policy in particular passed at Law and Ledge on February 10th, and we're finally hearing it today, which is concerning for me as a council member, and I know to many people in the community, because we should be moving faster on this, especially because it's a priority. It's a priority not just for us here on the dais, but for the community. And there weren't very many changes from the original piece of legislation that passed at LNL to today, so I do feel like we should have expedited our timeline. One of the questions that has arisen, from the community for our city attorney's office is, what is the difference between a resolution and an ordinance, and why did we do this policy in the framework of a resolution?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The difference between an ordinance and a resolution is that the ordinance is it's a law. It's permanent. It's inflexible. A resolution in this context is appropriate, and you chose wisely in that it allows for flexibility. It's an administrative act directed to the city manager, and it provides the city manager with flexibility to implement and execute the policies that you deem appropriate. Particularly right now during the evolving federal case law, she needs to have that flexibility to maintain or comply with existing federal law.
And I know that there was case law that passed last week. Can you please touch on that?
Yeah, there's a federal case law that just came down from the Ninth Circuit, essentially telling local governments and state governments that they can't control federal operations. They can't regulate federal operations. This is the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal. So as a result of that Ninth Circuit opinion, it allows the city to control its assets. So it does allow for the city to maintain its properties. It allows the city to say who can use the property, how it can be used, and that's what your resolution does today. It directs the city manager on how to regulate the city's assets. And that falls within the framework of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal. The Ninth Circuit said that cities and states can regulate their assets, but they can't regulate federal operations. That intrudes upon the federal government's supremacy clause, and so we believe that the resolution that you're adopting today, if adopted, will be legal, will be constitutional, and will achieve the objectives in that resolution.
Thank you, City Attorney. And, you know, this is one thing about the resolution. We are still managing our City of Sacramento properties. And there's differences between City Hall, a community center, the park, the parking garage. ICE can't go to the parking garage, park their truck, and say, it's not open to the public. They can't do that. They can't, that's a public space, and city staff is still allowed to go and park their cars there. Compared to the park, they can go and have a drink of water at the park. They can't take over the park for their operations. And so there's a lot of nuances within the law, but this resolution allows us some flexibility to make sure that we can still protect Sacramento, so we can protect our residents, so that people feel safe here. And that's one thing. We are in this together. We really are. And the Trump administration and the federal government and its craziness right now, they're not following the Constitution that's meant to protect us. And we can't control their craziness, but we can control our response here in Sacramento. And that means working together to stand up against the federal government. And so this is step one of many, and so it's just step one. And on Friday, we will be submitting an immigration platform with many partners to be able to really say, hey, these are the rules and responsibilities, and this is how we're going to work together moving forward. So want to provide some context, and I'll pass it on to Councilmember Guerra.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Vice Mayor. First, I want to thank my colleague, also Councilmember Bang and Telemontes for making sure that we have a focus on this and the urgency of this. And look, my family knows very well, I know very well what it's like when you are picked up by ICE. Back then it was just Border Patrol and Immigration. It was a different agency, but the same politics, the same hateful politics. And so what's important today is that we have a city that's taking direct action to its government, saying that that our taxpayer dollars should not be used to support an administration that is going after our community and to focus ensuring that our tax resources are here to support our community. And most importantly, you know, one of the next steps, and I appreciate what we did in 2017, what we're doing today, and what we're doing on Friday when we submit this, is ensuring that we're actually upholding the California Constitution, Article 1 of the California Constitution, on the issue specifically when it comes to privacy. Cities are required to ensure the privacy of our own residents. And so that means any kind of data sharing or information or videotaping or any of that stuff is protected. And that article was approved when California came into the statehood. And so I think that's an important piece that we're highlighting here, that other cities should take note. And if other cities are violating the first article of the California Constitution, which has been ratified as, you know, as one state of the United States, that we continue to uphold that. So I'm excited about the community that's actually been here, because this isn't the same response that we got in 2017. I think the urgency about the community showing up is an important piece, because it sends a message to many of our immigrant and refugee communities that there are families and others out here willing to support them. So I want to thank those who are here today. But most importantly, that as we take this action, I'm very sure that more than likely the federal government will take a different action. And so we will have to be as nimble and responsive. So I hope that the same time delay that it took to get here today does not get repeated, that we actually respond with urgency when we see that happen. Because as we've learned from 2017, changes occurred, but we need to be also just as nimble. So I am actually feeling optimistic about the coalition that's getting together so that as soon as we see something change, we can move quickly. With that, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I want to thank again our colleague, Councilmember Vang.
Thank you, Councilmember Bang.
Thank you. First, I know we're going to open it up for public comment, so I look forward to hearing from residents. As you all know, over the past year, our Sacramento community and region has endured ICE raids, kidnapping of our neighbors, loved ones being detained at the Federal Mosque building, and as you heard from Mayor Pro Tem Guerra, and I would even say Vice Mayor Talamantes, that, yes, we are elected up here, but we know this personally on a personal matter. We have family and loved ones that wake up every morning afraid if they're going to be separated from their loved ones. And so, yes, this is a policy we're bringing forth, but this is also something that we're all very close to, and we want to be able to move with a sense of urgency. I know that so many of you have attended vigils, you have supported mutual aid efforts, accompanied immigrants and refugees at the Mosque building, and I'm so proud of our community for standing up and holding the line. But this policy is also one step forward in terms of holding us accountable in terms of mayor and council. And so I just want to share with the community that this is just the first step, because last fall, we did update our immigration platform with the direction to move forward on this item to prohibit ICE activities on city property. That item was heard in Law and Ledge on February 10th. And then it took 2 months for us to actually hear it now in April. And we are here today to vote on this item. And that is unacceptable, I will say. Absolutely unacceptable, because as you heard from Vice Mayor Talamantes, not a lot of changes were made at Law and Ledge. Look, in this moment, we are in a moment where we are racing against the federal administration and their escalation, right? Across the country, we are seeing large-scale federal deployments like what happened in Minnesota. We see aggressive tactics of federal agents right here in the Sacramento region. And we're seeing so many of our communities experiencing fear, confusion, and instability as a result of what's happening across this country. And so Sacramento, us as a governing body, must move with a sense of urgency, and that we have to be proactive, and we can't wait. We can't wait for something to happen in Sacramento. We have to have a plan in place, and we should have already been there. It's been more than 2 months since Law and Ledge. That's more than 75 days. 75 days of our communities waiting for us to respond. And so I just want to be very clear that we definitely cannot adopt this resolution without a timeline, because what I'll share with all of you is that good resolution and ordinance goes to die. It doesn't matter if it's a resolution or ordinance, all of it goes to die without implementation. And so, but my commitment to all of you is that the implementation is of utmost importance for me when I talk about moving with a sense of urgency, because the reality is summer is approaching right now, and that means that our schools are very close to being out of session. And who access our community centers and our parks? That is our babies, our youth, and our families. And so there is a commitment from me and Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Mayor that we want to make sure that there's an actual implementation plan, because good resolution and ordinance actually does go to die if you don't have an implementation plan. And so I want to make the motion. Actually, I'm not going to make the motion yet. I think what I want to do is I want to hear from the community, because there may be additional amendments that might need to be added. But what I will say before we hear from the community is that in addition to this resolution, Vice Mayor Talamantes spoke on it as well, Mayor Pro Tem, and I know that several community organizations has met, and we are going to be submitting a Sacramento Community Action Plan proposal, and we are requesting that this proposal be heard before council recess. I just want to put that on record, because it took way too long for this item to even come back. Council recess is in July, and I am going to add this to the motion after I hear from residents, but that it is my hope that we return by June 23rd before council recess to actually vote on an implementation action plan. And so I just wanted to put that on record, and look forward to hearing from the community members before we make our motion on the item.
Thank you. Okay, we have how many? 29?
I have 29 speakers on this item.
Yes, and we have 2 minutes apiece. So if you could keep your comments tight, We have another hearing coming up and a few items on this agenda. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to read a few names. Please feel free to line up in the aisle. Gloria Diaz, Claudia Rios Manzo. And I do want to remind the audience, please do not disrupt the orderly conduct of these proceedings by continuing to speak from the audience. That is a violation of Chapter 5 of the City Council Rules of Procedure. We do want to get everyone's comments. Gloria, Claudia, Lauren McKay, then Scott.
Hi, good afternoon. Is this on?
Yes.
Good afternoon, City Mayor, council members. My name is Gloria Diaz. I'm asking you to support this resolution, of course. However, it's not enough. We need an ordinance that can be enforced and binding, that doesn't allow data infrastructure shared with ICE and closes the loophole of police to participate in joint task force. This is very specific, it's very clear. Direct the city manager and staff to develop policies with real power and not just watered down generalizations. I never thought, like you all probably never thought, we'd be in this position right now where we're living in an authoritarian, semi-fascist, almost fascist, very fascist state. But here we are. You all took an oath, just like I did 30 years ago working for a local government, to do what? To protect enemies, foreign and domestic. Right now's the time. There's some domestic enemies right now within us that are living with us. What can you do? What you have to do the hard things that we elected you to do. So many of us here are here today with really heavy hearts, believing, thinking in you, and hopefully you don't betray us today. We're really asking you to uphold your oath. We're actually helping you honor your oath. Because in many years from now, when your grandchildren, when your nieces and nephews come to you and say, Grandpa, Abuelita, Nona, what did you do when the fascist government was taking over? They were kidnapping our immigrant residents. They were killing them and torturing them. They're going to ask you, what did you do? You had the power, and what did you do? And what will you say? Mija, mijo, I passed a very strong-worded resolution. That's shameful, shameful, shameful.
Claudia.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I'm Claudia Rios Manzo with the California Immigration Project, and I serve as a Fuel Network Program Coordinator. FUEL stands for Family Unity, Education, and Legal Network. Access to fuel resources and services mitigate the harm resulting from fear and panic caused by the aggressive expansion of federal immigration enforcement and anti-immigrant policy. I am here today to urge the Council to prioritize the demands and hear the pleas of our community being uplifted by our partners and community. This resolution to prohibit federal agents from using city property is one step forward, but we know that the terror of enforcement and a taunting and looming threat of enforcement surge and family separation seeps into every part of immigrants' lives. The paralyzing fear of persecution hindering our action today is the same fear our immigrant neighbors know far too well. It awaits for them the moment they step out. Increased superfunded enforcement and arbitrary changes to policies have been placed like landmines by this administration, inciting more fear. In partnership with the city and in collaboration with community partners and organizations like Asian American Liberation Network and coalitions like the RISE Hub, we hope to support policies and develop a tangible community action plan that will aid in fostering a city where our neighbors can go about their daily lives without fear and live their lives with dignity. This action plan is another step and an investment into the well-being of our overall Sacramento community. While there are many things that are out of our control, it is imperative that we leverage our strengths and collective and respective power and learn from other cities that have already navigated enforcement surges or have created and implemented proactive safety plans to protect immigrants. Together, we can create the world we envision for ourselves. We are all co-authors of this moment in history. To our elected officials of the capital city of California, when we look back at this moment in history, how will you be remembered? Will your legacy be one of action or inaction? Thank you.
Next speaker is Lauren, then Scott.
Hello, my name is Lauren McKay, and it just seems very clear to me the time is now. We do not want any flexibility, and no city resources should be going to imprisoning our neighbors and friends. Thank you.
Scott, then Becky H., then Barb R.
Which Scott was it? S?
You can go ahead.
Just
You're good.
All right, well, let me fix my hair real quick, sorry. So, that's for OnlyFans. So, you mentioned the Nisanon and the land acknowledgement. We know no one's illegal on stolen land. We know this. Now's the time to step up. We're watching black and brown get hit every day. So you're telling people that the DHS or federal work, the federal immigration, are not allowed in spots. We're asking you to get them the fuck out. Period. They are attacking black and brown in your fucking town. Few blocks from here. Sanctuary City, my ass. We're getting hits. My nickname is White Space Jesus and Bear Mace Bastard. You know where I earned that? In your fucking city. Because I'm watching black and brown get hit by DHS and federal vehicles, by security guards working for these feds. They're finding loopholes between your resolutions. They are already going to do it. If we're gonna protect everybody else, we need to understand what the hell they want to do. We already know what's going on. Your community is at risk, and I'm very sorry to say this in front of everybody else that's already afraid to go to work. We're gonna die more in the streets in your city. And a lot of us are gonna go down in your city. Know this. We don't want it, but that's where it's coming from. Fuck ICE.
Next speaker is Becky H., Barb R. Becky H., Barb R., then Marcelina.
My favorite, talking to my representative again. Does he ever show up when he's supposed to? Ever? So who do I talk to? Who's going to listen to me if it's not my representative? Maybe the mayor, who's here right now. And I feel like we're keeping the city attorney up. But anyway, please pass an ordinance, not just a resolution, banning the use of any city property, facilities, data, staff time, or resources for any immigration enforcement activities. Anyway, I support all of the eloquent speaking that went before me. I have a lot of experience now with the police department, unfortunately, and the sheriffs, and they are creating homelessness for all of the reasons that one of the persons up here, when you're giving tickets or whatever, it causes people to get caught up into a vortex of the carceral system, and then you just become homeless. So anyway, normally I'm listening to people when they're speaking up on the dais, but they're not normally listening to me. But at least you're here, as opposed to my representative, who is not here and is often not here when I'm here. Anyway, be bold. That's what I say. Change takes courage. Be bold. Because honestly, Council Member Kaplan came out pretty strongly today, and I was actually pretty proud of her today. I don't know why, but there she was. So let's listen to her. And when the mayor was running for election, he said there was going to be this big audit report of homeless resources and what happened to all of them. So did that actually happen? And if it did, where can I find it? Thank you.
Next speaker is Barb R., Marcelina, then Gabriel G. Oh, pardon me, Barb. Marcelina, then Gabriel.
Hi, my name is Marcelina. I'm born and raised in South Sac, and I live in my Vangs district. I'm currently representing the Sacramento Immigration Committee. We're a budding grassroots and all-volunteer organization pushing for real consequences in this fight. We don't think this is enough, and you guys keep mentioning it as a first step, but you've been on the first step for like 6 months. And it's also not the first step, it's the multiple steps. In January, you guys passed an immigration policy platform, which has been violated several times. And the only people to show up are people from the Camp for Justice and people from my organization. And we're all volunteers. And you guys get paid to do this. It's your job to do this, to care about problems like this in this town, and you have volunteer organizers doing it instead. Shame. I know we're not in a position to put forth an ordinance involving ICE, But to what extent can we put one towards our own police department, who in recent weeks illegally detained and manhandled a protester for a noise complaint, despite it being in the middle of the day? The protesters at Camp for Justice who have been watching ICE for us are allowed to be there, especially after the immigrant policy platform was passed in January. It states that we are to protect and preserve the right to free speech in and around the area surrounding the John Moss Federal Building, enshrining First Amendment activities. Yet here we are a handful of months later after this passed, and SAC PD is still playing in our faces. How can we trust that whatever gets put into the community action plan will happen without real consequences to enforce it? We need civil penalties against the police that are violating this. We need real consequences, and we needed them 6 months ago.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Gabriel G. Following Gabriel is Raylene, then Eli. Gabriel G., Raylene, then Eli C.
Council members, Mr. Mayor, my name is Becky H. I'm a resident of Sacramento, District 6, and I just want to say, like, I appreciate the fact that this resolution is going somewhere, but I am absolutely in agreement with Councilperson Vang. This is taking way too long. The situation is absolutely urgent. Our neighbors are being kidnapped from the federal building. Like, this needs to be an ordinance that has some teeth to it, right? So we need you to pass this as an ordinance, not a resolution. And it needs to ban the use of any city property, facilities, data, staff time, or resources for any immigration enforcement activities. It's not enough just to say, oh, we're gonna make a strongly worded letter. Like, no, that is not enough. So we really need you to strengthen this and give it some, it needs to have some power behind it. It needs to have your commitment behind it, right? So we want you to close the loophole of Sacramento Police Department participation in Joint Task Force. We want to join cities like Portland, San Francisco, and Oakland to ensure that no city resources are shared with ICE or any federal agencies engaged in immigration enforcement. We need also a community action plan that is cohesive and comprehensive. The city of Sacramento cannot just stand by and allow these practices to continue to take place, right? This is inhumane and horrendous. And in closing, I would just like to ask you, Mr. Mayor, Mayor McCarty, I heard you say at one point that you didn't want to put a target on the back.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. The next speaker is Gabriel, then Raylene, then Eli. Your time is complete. Please take your seat. Gabriel?
I had written a public comment that I was going to read, but then after hearing the city attorney's justification for backing this resolution, I just kind of threw it out the window. Because honestly, it's just kind of exhausting to hear over and over again how we have to follow the rules that the federal government clearly does not. And it reminds me of 2008 when Obama ran on codifying Roe v. Wade. And then as soon as he became president, that was not a priority. And then what happened 10 years later, right? Or it was a little more than that, 15 years later. I think that the idea of having to go through the motions and follow the rules and do things the right way and having flexibility, like these justifications, it doesn't make sense when you have a federal government that does not follow the same playbook that you guys are saying that we need to follow. It doesn't make sense to have rules if everyone doesn't play by those same rules. Am I asking you to do something that is unconstitutional? I don't think any of us are. And I think that if it comes to a point in which this ordinance that we are asking you to make gets challenged in court, then challenge it in court. Like, we need to actually take bold moves to defend our community and not keep playing by a rule book that has literally been thrown out the window over the last 10 years while every single politician scrambling, just being like, why don't they follow the rules? Why don't they? Well, they're not following the rules. So maybe it's time to be a little bit more bold and challenge that system.
Raylene and then Eli. Raylene, then Eli, then I have another Marcelina if it's not a duplicate.
We ask that you strengthen this proposal into an ordinance to ensure that no city resources are shared with any federal agencies engaged in immigration enforcement. I'm part of Singing Resistance, and I'm going to sing a song. I want you all to search your hearts. We are one family. We are one community. We are here to take care of each other. Everyone, every one of these people are ours, just like we are theirs. We belong to them, and they belong to us. Everyone, every one of these people are ours, just like we are theirs. We belong to them, and they belong to us. We belong to them, and they belong to us. Everyone, every one of these people are ours, just like we are theirs. We belong to them, and they belong to us. We belong to them, and they belong to us.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Eli C., Marcelina. Eli C., then Marcelina. If it's not a duplicate, then Francis, then Moise Murr.
Thank you. I just want to say a big thank you first to Council Members Talamantes, Guerra, and Vang for drafting this and the plan that you're coming up with. I'm so thankful that Sacramento is being proactive against what we're seeing with our community members in ICE. Like all my comrades today, I want to urge you to pass this as an ordinance, and I so appreciate what Councilmember Vang said about having a timeline and clear implementation plan. I'm also part of Singing Resistance, a movement that started in Minnesota, so this is a song in honor of that we've been also singing in the streets. Oh, ICE is taking our neighbors, and it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. Oh, ICE is taking our neighbors, and it's gone on far too long, and we won't be silent anymore. Oh, ICE is breaking up families, and it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. Oh, it's gone on far too long. Oh, ICE is breaking up families, and it's gone on far too long, and we won't be silent anymore. No, we won't be silent anymore. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Francis, then Moise, then Mark.
Hello,
Hello, I'm Frances, organizer to Decarcerate Sacramento. I just have to say, by starting off, people are really tired and we're just really angry. We've been showing up here for months, and hundreds of people showed up here in January to demand that the city actually take action to protect us from ICE. And organizations and volunteers on the front line of resisting ICE have done your job by clearly laying out policies that are required to meet those demands, including full data sanctuary and ending voluntary SAC-PD collaboration with federal law enforcement. Today, we have a resolution that ignores most of what the community has been asking for. And as people have been engaging with this council and mayor, we have heard every excuse under the sun, from I don't know to that's not my job, about why nothing has moved forward quickly. Stop lying to us and do your job. Step up as our elected representatives and pass real policy and ordinances. We need a comprehensive plan that addresses the full span of our community demands and concerns, and this needs to be an ordinance and agendized as soon as possible. At the press conference this morning, Councilmember Talamantes said our best legal route of standing up to this federal administration is managing our own house. And I agree with you, and that's why I really think that we need to focus our attention on the behavior and policies of the Sacramento Police Department. SAC-PD has continually targeted and issued citations to protesters outside the federal building. We need to create blanket policies that actually protect free speech and end the illegal targeting of them. We also need to end SAC-PD's voluntary participation in joint federal task forces with federal law enforcement. This is being used to charge anti-ICE protesters with terrorism charges across the country. We also need to guarantee the right of privacy, as Councilmember Garris said, and how are we supposed to do this when SAC-PD literally expanded its access to surveillance cameras and ALPRs?
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Moise Mir, then Mark Drollet, then Josiah Messias.
Good afternoon. My name is Moise Mir. I'm the Organizing and Advocacy Manager for Asian American Liberation Network. In front of you, you should be holding, or on your desk, letters on behalf of Asian American Liberation Network with deep comments. You may have lots of questions. We've been sharing answers with you for the past year. There's so many policies that other cities have already done, implemented, and we've been sharing them with you since September, since last summer. Earlier today, I stood in solidarity with a couple of you at that press conference to demand very explicitly, what is the city of Sacramento responsible for? Our resources, and so no city resources for ICE. That means taking action today to strengthen this proposal, as Councilmember Vang said, to have a clear implementation timeline so it doesn't just go and disappear for quote unquote 30 days, but then come back months later. And specifically, the other action that we're talking about is an implementation through a community action plan that we're working with council members on alongside institutions, direct service providers, community organizations. But even this resolution has flaws. It's, again, not a binding ordinance. It's too slow. On February 10th, Chair Maple at that Law and Legislation Committee specifically directed city staff to come back with the information that it would take to implement, to make this meaningful. Things like a local face covering mask ban for law enforcement, data sharing, joint terrorism task force participation, a data sanctuary ordinance, and specifically information on SAC-PD's conduct outside of the federal building after the passing of that January 27th resolution, and the violations of that, which are detailed, again, in that letter. There's a whole grand jury report on SAC-PD violating city sanctuary and state sanctuary policies.
Thank you for your comments. Mark Drollet, then Joshua Macias.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Drollet. I've lived in Sacramento for 60 years. My wife, who is Hispanic, was born in Southern California and thus is a U.S. citizen. It is incomprehensible that in Trump's America, we both have to be concerned that ICE may whisk her away at any moment due to racial profiling. We are beyond outraged that neighbors here in Sacramento and untold others across this nation have been kidnapped, assaulted, and imprisoned in ICE detention facilities rife with horrors, including but not limited to rotten food, filthy water, the denial of proper medical care, extreme overcrowding, untenable environmental conditions, and physical, sexual, and emotional abuse. This doesn't even take into account the murders of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, the record number of detainee deaths in these black pits of misery, or the absence of due process, which every individual within the United States is constitutionally guaranteed. However, communities, including states, across the land have been successfully fighting back by filing lawsuits, passing ordinances, and otherwise pulling out all available stops to block ICE from establishing such barbaric hellholes and doing its dirty work in their respective locales. There's zero reason that Sacramento, which rightly prides itself on being one of the most diverse, if not the most diverse city in the nation, should not join that role. In fact, it's morally and constitutionally imperative that it do so. I urge you to pass an ordinance that bans the use of any city property, facilities, data, or resources for any immigration enforcement activities, as well as closes the loophole of SAC PD participation in joint task forces. Thank you.
Next speaker is Joshua Macias, then Francis L., if not a duplicate, then Jarek Ruiz. Joshua?
So my name is Joshua Macias. I'm with the Sacramento Immigration Committee. I'm a community organizer. I've spoken to council members up here before and have been critical. That's not my goal today, but as you can see, there is definitely some frustration within the community. I am one of the people who is working with council members Vang, Guerra, and Telemontes to do this work in updating our community action plan and our sanctuary city policies, but yeah, it has not been enough. So, I mean, if you guys are saying that there's something wrong and that you're upset with it, as you can tell, we're feeling at least twice as upset because we've had one meeting, this has gone months without any update, and now it's already due by this Friday. Nothing has changed, it's very incomplete, and I just want to echo the urgency of getting this done as something with some teeth, preferably an ordinance other than a resolution, which is just a strongly worded suggestion. People are unaware that today the King and Queen of the UK actually visited the White House, and Donald Trump in his speech had blatant white supremacist rhetoric and colonial praising there, quoting that, calling this an untamed and wild continent. This is indigenous land that was always had people on it that were living here plenty fine before colonizers came. Speaking of the American patriots, he said their veins ran with Anglo-Saxon courage. Their hearts beat with an English faith. He said that we share the same roots, speak the same language, hold the same values, and together our warriors have defended the same extraordinary civilization under twin banners of red, white, and blue. He also said that our ancestors...
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. The next speaker is Jarek Ruiz, then Ethan Zamora, then Leanna H. I have 13 more speakers.
That is not who we are.
Jarek Ruiz.
That does not represent Sacramento, and it will not.
Your time is complete. Please take your seat.
Hello. Hi, my name is Jarek Ruiz, a community outreach coordinator for Ignite Filipino, an org that provides direct service for Filipino youth, family, immigrants, and seniors. I was here 2 months ago for the Law and Ledge Committee, urging y'all to pass item 3, and I'm here today urging y'all to for a clear timeline and for y'all to strengthen the proposal to be turned into an ordinance, not just a resolution. I'm asking y'all to ban the use of any city properties, facilities, data, staff time, and resources for any immigration enforcement activities urgently. And I'm urging y'all to close the loophole for SAC PD's participation in joint task force to ensure that our immigrant communities post security and safety, that no absolute city resources are being shared with any of the federal immigrant agencies. And moving forward and in future meetings, please support a comprehensive and clear community action plan for our immigrant communities. Thank you.
Ethan, then Leanna.
Good afternoon. I am Ethan Julian Zamora, a resident of District 1 and a Community Outreach Coordinator with Ugnai Filipino, a direct and referral services program serving the Filipino community here in Sacramento. My identity, lived experiences, and current advocacy work are all rooted in immigration. 2 months ago, I was also present at the Law and Legislation Committee meeting where I was in support of Item 3, and today again, I'm standing in front of you all in support of Item 29. Urgency and tangibility remain key in keeping our friends, family, neighbors, loved ones, and communities safe. And on that note, please support a comprehensive community action plan with a clear timeline that puts the people of Sacramento and their safety first. And to reiterate everyone's point before me, I urge you, the City Council, to please pass an ordinance, not just a resolution, banning the use of any city property, facilities, data, staff time, and resources for any immigration enforcement activities. Also, please close the loophole of Sacramento PD participation in joint task forces to ensure no city resources are shared with any federal agencies engaged in immigration enforcement. Other cities are doing it, so why can't we? Do the right thing, keep our communities safe and together. Salamat, thank you.
Next speaker is Leanna H., then Josh, then Ella Roberts.
Hi, my name's Leanna. I was one of the protester that was detained on April 8th at the Moss Building for making noise at noon. Shocking, I know. I know, right? I was making noise, I was using my First Amendment right, and PD weaponized that against me. Using all of our taxpayer funds to do so. I was kept in the car for 30 minutes in cuffs, in the patrol car for over 30 minutes while they looked and called and found what they could charge me with. They weren't sure what they were gonna charge me with. They couldn't figure out what they were gonna charge me with. So they spent over 40 minutes prior to and then 30 minutes of my detention trying to find out what they were going to charge me with because they couldn't figure it out. Maybe there wasn't a crime committed. So maybe in this ordinance that I really hope you guys would actually pass as an ordinance rather than a resolution, that, as everyone has stated, is a strongly worded letter. Do you really want to look back on this and tell your grandchildren, your whoever, have your generations after you, ask, what did you do? Did you stand up and say anything? I wrote a strongly worded letter. Like that one lady said, that was the best way to put it. You're gonna write a strongly worded letter, or are you gonna protect the citizens that elected you and put you in these positions? Are you actually gonna protect your homeless? Because those are the same constituents, and a lot of them are your same taxpayers. As much as you don't see them the same, they are the same. We are all the same. And if you don't start seeing us the same and treating us the same, we can find new council members pretty easy.
Next speaker is Josh. Following Josh is L.R. Roberts. Josh, L.R. Roberts, then Melissa Atocha.
I'm L.R. Roberts. I brought up the San Francisco ordinance here recently, and I sent a copy to Katie, and I was so thrilled that she'd been working on this. I've been very concerned about ICE since I tried to prevent it from happening to begin with. I've been doing human rights work since the 1970s. For instance, we used to watch them take people into the Moss Building. Well, so now ICE is closing it off so you can't see what they're doing. They've added fencing, they've added overhangs. Just this week, they added something else. You know, are they ashamed of what they're doing? So just this week, yeah, they added a new thing so you can't see what they're doing. Just this week, or was it last week, I was legally observing, I had my hat on. I watched the ICE worker try to hit somebody in a crosswalk on one of our streets. So I've been giving reports of this, of vehicles hitting people. I've been getting reports about that, and people being pepper sprayed. So obviously something has to be done. Real quick on the issue of homeless people, I recently sold my RV to somebody because she has 2 children. She was living in her RV, and the city took her RV away. So I sold her my used one, so she wouldn't be homeless. Thank you.
Next speaker is Josh, then Melissa, then Rhonda Rios Kravitz.
Hi, I'm Josh. This is a resolution. It doesn't keep anyone safe. It makes people feel nice. It's not going to change the world. It's okay to give resolutions for trees. Trees don't kidnap people. Trees aren't fascists. But our joint task force, if they have fascists on them, we're all fascists. We can't have SAC PD sharing information with the feds because, I mean, Trump wants to denaturalize people. He wants to take citizens and turn them into non-citizens. He wants everyone that is a political enemy out of the country. And what fascists do is they'll come for the unions, they'll come for the socialists. I don't know if you've heard the poem, it gets worse. They'll come for us all. And this is the start. And if we can't even pass a law, if we have to stick with just a nice letter, because we're afraid of having a target on our back, then we will have barricades in the streets. We will be fighting here in Sacramento because we weren't brave enough to pass an actual law. So we need to stand up now, at least on paper, and at least be willing to go to courts, or they will be here in the streets just like they were in Minneapolis.
Next speaker is Melissa, then Rhonda Rios-Kravitz, then AJ Albano.
My name is Melissa Carolina Tocha. I support this resolution not because it represents progress, but because it's the only option this council has put in front of the Sacramento community. Let's be clear, this resolution is a distraction. It gives the appearance of actual action while avoiding any real accountability. It allows the council to congratulate itself without actually doing anything. 3 months ago, the council passed an immigration platform resolution. For what? Just to arrive here and pass another resolution with no teeth. What exactly is there to celebrate? Why was there a press conference this morning? And Mayor, I ask you directly, do you make a habit of lying to people and organizations? Or at the very least, do you allow your council members and the staff to misinform you? Because on April 9th, you assured us, you assured me, that what we see today would be an ordinance. You assured me it would be policy with enforcement capacity. So I'll ask again, do you make a habit of lying? And the council members, especially those who invoke the immigration routes when it's convenient, are you proud of yourselves? Because we're not. We don't care if your colleagues don't like you because you're running against an incumbent in Congress. Right policy, right law. We don't care if you're running unopposed but trying not to upset anyone for your own career. Right policy. We don't care about your cafecito. We don't care that the city budget is tight when you fund SAC PD with over $250 million. When the community asks you to fund the fuel network, your job is not to turn around and ask for donations. Your job is to write laws. If any of this feels like it applies to you, then sit with that. And if you don't feel called out, it's not because you're absolved of responsibility for the harm and fear experienced by immigrant communities. It's because your constituents have already lost hope in you.
Next speaker is Rhonda. Next speaker is Rhonda Rios-Kravitz, AJ Albano, Marbella, Micaiah Taylor. I'm not seeing any movement. Micaiah? Michaela? What was your name?
AJ?
Thank you. Please proceed.
Name's AJ. Hello again from Decarcerate Sacramento. I don't really have to say much. Everybody here has already said it to you. People will continue to say the same things to you over and over again. We have it written down for you. It's in front of you. What we want are ordinances, not resolutions. We're not acknowledging our local Little League team. We are asking you to have enforceable policy that will actually make change in our communities. I missed the part of the discussion where you guys talked about not being able to pass ordinances because of a 9th district decision. I just want to be clear. We're not asking you to make ordinances to stop the federal government from doing anything. We're asking you to make ordinances for your own city and for your own police, which would not violate any sort of supremacy clauses. And also, I find it very odd that you decide to be very cautious about impeding on the supremacy clause, but are so willing to violate our 8th Amendment rights for criminalizing unhoused people, our First Amendment rights when you're violating people's First Amendment speech outside of the John Moss building with pretextual police encounters. What she's describing about an officer stopping them, detaining them, and then deciding what to charge them with is the definition of a pretextual encounter. And I know you guys are going to be hearing about pretextual vehicle stops very soon. This is the same thing. And if you guys have to be consistent about how you're going to be approaching those things as well. The people outside of the John Moss Federal Building deal with pretextual encounters by police all of the time. And it is a violation of the First Amendment. And those are the rights that you should be prioritizing here in this body.
Next speaker is Michaela Taylor, then Sally Calligan, then Chris Henderson. Michaela? Following Sally, then Chris.
Hello. So when all of you ran for office, I'm sure you all mentioned a commitment to public safety. Passing an ordinance that bans the use of city property, facilities, data, staff time, or any resources for any immigration service is providing safety to the public. The best thing we can do is to be proactive and close any loopholes that could allow ICE to work with SAC PD. This is the time to be brave. This is the time to be urgent. This is the time to take charge and make sure that ICE's dangerous tactics have even more roadblocks. This is the time to say with our whole chest and policies that ICE cannot operate here and they cannot work with SAC PD because they already are targeting those who are putting their bodies on the line. The city cannot fear the possibility of being a target when the gun has already been pointed and the trigger has already been pulled, and it's at our neighbors, and our neighbors are the ones in front of the gun. Thank you, Vice Mayor Guerra, Councilmembers Vang and Talamantes for championing this effort and taking accountability for the delays, even though it is not you slow-walking it or defanging it. I encourage the rest of the council to match and even surpass the energy. And every vote you make communicates your values, either intentionally or unintentionally. Your impact outweighs every intention that you have ever set. And I think the last thing I want to say is that so often, sometimes we create policies that actually end up being used against us later down the line. So we have to be incredibly proactive and make sure we're doing the most possible. And I understand as a former council staffer, it is so much more complicated than that. There's so much more layers, there's so much more nuance. But we are asking, we are begging, we want to make sure that everyone is safe because as people have said before, it's not even starting here. It started far, far long ago, and we are dealing with the consequences now. And all of that is going to be poured on all of us, and some of you may feel like you're protected, but you are not. No one is protected. And so we have to act because those who are the most vulnerable, they're always going to be the ones.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Marbella, then Sally Calligan, then Chris Henderson.
Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. And first, before I start, I'm Marbella, and I'm the president of Garland Northgate Neighborhood Association, and also Measure U Commissioner for District 3. And I want to say thank you, Mindy, for facilitating our special meeting for Measure U that allowed us last night to pass the budget recommendation. And I also want to acknowledge Councilmember Vang, Councilmember Guerra, Councilmember Talamantes for stepping up and taking this leadership, even though we're not quite there. And the reason why I don't support this being a resolution is because I've seen you. I've been coming here for about 2 years, and I've seen the passage of many resolutions, and they're fun and they're great and they feel good, but they do nothing of enforcement and accountability. An ordinance is the only way that you as a city are going to be able to hold staff, police, and everyone accountable when you pass an ordinance. There are 4 cities in California that have passed ordinance, so they've done it. It's possible. Their attorneys have advised them how to do it, and you, Gustavo Limon Martinez, can help the city council in finding a way to pass an ordinance. That's the only way that you're going to hold accountable. And my last comment is, Councilmember Vang said, without a timeline, I agree. It's just another fluff piece of paper up in your shelves. But you need not only a timeline, but resources invested in making sure that this ordinance is applied and there's training and accountability for this ordinance. And I urge a vote for the ordinance. And my last thing is in Espanol, prefiero morir de pie que de rodilla. And Zapata said in English, I'd rather die on my feet than in my knees.
Sally Callaghan. Following Sally is Chris Henderson, then Alexandria Estrella.
Hi, Sally Callaghan. Thank you for your efforts. It's a horrible time. Who would have dreamed 3 years ago that we would have people with masks corrupting our democracy? But that's what we have. And if these people tell you to jump an inch, jump a foot, now is the time to tell them that you won't, because it's going to be 3 feet and 4 feet. We need Sacramento, which is the capital of California, to be a Harvard. We need a lawyer who can use law and play with it like lawyers do. We need an ordinance that will enable our police officers to follow a policy that's strong to protect our citizenry. This is what we need. I don't know how else to say it. I've been hearing a lot of doublespeak. When I heard you speak, I was just so confused, like, what are you two talking about? I thought we were all on the same side in January. And then I hear from you, and you. What do they want now? I'm really confused. Are they going to back this? Are they going to protect us or not? I think people have been clear that we want an ordinance, we want accountability, we want the mayor and the city council to respond with urgency and correctness. And remember, you are the capital of friggin' California. You've got the power to do this, and people are watching. Please, I appreciate you all greatly for running for public office. Thank you.
Chris Henderson, then Alexandria Estrella.
Sacramento is my hometown. 4 generations have called this city home. I now represent my home of 30 more years and my fellow residents of El Dorado County. We look to this capital city to take action. Why? Because we're next on the federal menu for raids, kidnapping, and yes, murder. I am saddened, Mayor McCarty, not to see Flo Coffer sitting in your seat. In my opinion, this would be a very different conversation. Passing a resolution today on the use of any city property, facilities, data, staff, time, or city resources for any immigration enforcement activities makes no one safer. Will that add a level of safety that will not add a level of safety that exists for our residents, our frightened and innocent immigrant families, and even our vibrant downtown business community. This sounds like a Band-Aid to delay actionable enforcement of an ordinance you have yet to develop. An enforceable sanctuary city ordinance in support of all city resources, whether managed by the city or by contractors for the city, banned to any immigrant agency enforcement. Think, can a violation of this resolution hold accountability and be enforceable with penalties? I don't think so. Consequences do matter. None have served Renee Good or Alex Preddy yet. Los Angeles and Oakland have closed these loopholes. How? Find out. Our lives are in your hands. You should want to see this rolled out as a template to sister cities who are ready, willing, and able to pass an ordinance that mirrors our capital city leadership. You each hold that very power in your hands today, not yesterday, not last month. You each hold that power.
Thank you for your comments. Alexandria Estrella, Samuel, then CeCe Rose. I have 3 more speakers.
My name is Alexandra Estrella. I am a Sacramento resident and I work with the California Immigrant Policy Center. I call on City Council to adopt Agenda Item 29, which will prohibit the use of facilities and property for immigration-related enforcement activities and commit to robust enforceable measures. A resolution alone isn't enough. It's merely symbolic. If Sacramento truly wants to be a sanctuary city, it needs to pass an ordinance that explicitly bans the use of any city resources such as property, staff, data, funds for immigration enforcement. Without enforcement, these commitments remain symbolic and leave room for continued harm. It is also critical to address existing gaps. Participation in joint task forces can allow local resources to be used in ways that undermine the city's stated values. Other cities, including Los Angeles, Oakland, San Francisco, and Portland, have taken steps to close these loopholes. So you should listen to what they have been doing. Sacramento has the opportunity to do the same by ensuring that no city resources are shared directly or indirectly with federal immigration enforcement. More importantly, proven models already exist. Policies adopted in other jurisdictions extend these protections to contractors, data, and city investments. Sacramento can build on these approaches to create a comprehensive framework that reflects its commitment to community safety and trust. The issue is personal to me. As someone who came to this country seeking safety, I understand how critical it is for local systems to provide real protection. Gaps in policy can have very real consequences for individuals and families who rely on these protections. I also encourage the city to move forward with a comprehensive community action plan to ensure these policies are implemented. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Samuel still here? I don't see Samuel. Cece Rose?
Samuel. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. Hi, I'm Samuel. I'm delegating my time over to my campmate, Chop.
Chop, so I'm new to these things here, but I had a whole thing I had planned out to say to y'all, but I'm just dumbfounded by how y'all keep walking up out of here. As far as I know, when somebody's talking to you, you're supposed to show them some type of respect, but that is not what's being given here. You guys keep getting up, walking out, walking in, high-fiving each other, might as well be at least, and laughing in our faces like we're supposed to believe that y'all are actually listening to us. Now, I don't know where it goes from y'all begging for, us to vote for y'all, and then turn into not really caring about what it is we got to say, but that's just rude. It's rude. I just don't understand. But what I really wanted to say, something was on this parking, this stopping people from parking at parks, and it's ridiculous to me because I've been outside for about 16 years now. That's half my life, and this whole time, I have been seeing people doing nothing but fall out on these streets, and it's doing nothing but getting worse and worse. Now, y'all say that something is actually happening, but I'm not seeing that, and that's from being out here. Now, I don't know. I just don't see a point in really saying anything. Like I said, y'all don't care. Y'all don't care. I see that. Because it's only us that's going to help us, because y'all ain't going to do shit about it.
Cece Rose is our final speaker. Cece Rose.
Hi, many of you probably remember me. I'm the one Sac PD's teepee they stole and desecrated. Yeah, I got it back before they told me I had to wait till May 6th to get my property back of a Native American church that Sac PD literally stole and desecrated, had no rights to do so, and all because I was hosting a vigil for the lives lost over at John Moss. Your guys' little letter isn't gonna do anything. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. I'm from Minneapolis. I was born in Hennepin County. How is it that other states are actually holding these people accountable, ICE Gestapo, charging them with simple traffic violations, charging them for crossing the street, charging them for their tags being expired? Why is Sac PD not doing this? You guys are sitting on your fucking asses. Do something. I'm there every day watching G4S, a private security based out of Britain, and ICE running people in crosswalks, running people over in streets, assaulting pedestrians, assaulting vehicles, literally running all over this town with expired registration over 2 years old. Do something. There's tarps, there's letters, it ain't gonna hide their crimes. Do something. Get off your asses.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I have no more speaker slips on this agenda item. That closes the public comment period. I have no more speaker slips. Thank you.
I'm sorry, you can sign up for matters not on the agenda, because we had to turn in the peak speakers list by a certain. Thank you so much. I do want to say, no, the speakers for this agenda item are over. You might have signed up for another item. Okay, I do want to make just a few things. One, our police department does not work with ICE. State law, California law says that we do not work with them, and we don't. Two, we're going to continue challenging Trump and his administration with amicus briefs and lawsuits. That's the work that we're doing now. We'll continue doing that. Three, as part of our sanctuary resolution, our City of Sacramento's employees from all the departments do not share information nor resources with any ICE federal agents. And lastly, we do not work with them, period. What about the FBI? We do not work with them, period, on immigration policy, and our police department has a manual. We are working on an immigration framework. We'll present it on Friday, but hopefully it'll give everybody more information, and I'll pass it on to Councilmember Bang.
Thank you. I really appreciate everyone who came to speak today. I know what is in front of us as a resolution. So even if there's not an ordinance, we can't vote on an ordinance tonight because we can only vote on what is in front of us, which is the resolution. So I just want to name that first. So what is in front of us is a resolution. It's not an ordinance. And I just want to share with the community that I hear what you're saying, that you have said that ordinance is binding, a resolution is not. What I want to share with you is a resolution allow us to make sure that we have administrative direction to the city manager. But I am really struggling, and I've been struggling in this moment because I think it's still really important for us to explore what a potential ordinance may look like in the city of Sacramento. I just want to be clear that we're not voting on that tonight. Tonight is just the resolution. And so that's the only thing we could vote on right now, and we can provide direction. And so the motion on the table that I like to make, and it wasn't exactly what I thought I was going to make, so I just want to share that with my two colleagues who have worked incredibly hard on this, is that I want to make a motion to add a clear timeline to the city property resolution, which is in front of us, that the city manager return back by June 23rd with the Sacramento Community Action Plan. And I like to explore a potential ordinance as well. Now, you could do a sub-motion, but I think it's really important for us to explore what that looks like. I want to be able to, understand the nuances, comb through it, and to see if it's possible. And so I'd like to make a motion that we do pass this resolution with the direction to the city manager to come back with the Sacramento Community Action Plan with the ordinance as part of the package. That is my motion on the table. And if there's no second, then there's no second. But, yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, I think let Mayor Pro Tem Guerra go first, but before you do that, we are on the same team here. Resolution versus ordinance. City Attorney, please explain the difference between city ordinance and city resolution. I know that there's penalties involved, and then there's supremacy clause. There's a lot involved, so please just explain to us what the difference between those two is. Because I just want to make sure that we're very realistic.
I know that, not ours.
Our city attorney.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is not my personal opinion. We follow the rules of law. We're lawyers. We follow the law. So I'm going to give you the ordinances provide for criminal penalties. Resolutions do not. We have a sanctuary city resolution that was adopted in 2017. It's been an effective resolution. It's a sanctuary city. It's prohibited law enforcement, all city employees from using any resource for immigration purposes. It served the city well for a number of years. It still exists. If city employees are found violating it, they're subject to discipline and termination. So that exists today. Also in existence is the SB 54 state law, which prohibits local governments, local law enforcement from using local resources to enforce immigration law, to share data. That's state law. So local government should not be violating state law. So, well, so it's all about implementation, right? Councilmember Vang talked about that. You can put everything on the books, but if you don't implement it and execute it, it's not going to be effective. So that's where the city manager comes in. That's where she controls her police force and her city resources, and that's what's being done today. An administrative directive is given to her to adopt this resolution to implement policies that will prohibit the city from using or for allowing any use of its assets for immigration purposes. That's her directive, and that's what she needs to implement and execute. And if she fails to follow that, then she's terminated. That's the way city works, right? So this is why a resolution is preferable over an ordinance, because why would you put a criminal penalty on an ordinance like this? Will you criminalize the law enforcement? So,
Okay, everybody had 2 minutes to speak. I have asked our city attorney to answer my question. This is his time to speak. Please respect him.
yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with any of you out there. I'm just saying, for this purpose, for what's before us today, a resolution is a flexible instrument and it's an administrative act today that you're contemplating that is an effective tool to accomplish the objectives. That's what's before you.
And city manager, I know Councilmember Vang said that we need to make sure that we have this back before council recess. What does that look like for you?
We can do our best to work and have it sent to you by the 23rd. I do want to pause because I know you wanted it back within 30 days. There were conversations with myself and the new city attorney because we were aware that there had been delays. So I was meeting with my staff, he was meeting with his staff, and we wanted to make certain that regardless of there were little changes, we wanted to make certain that we brought something back that you could move forward. We understand that, this is yesterday, and we were moving at the speed of expedition. It probably wasn't at the speed that you wanted it to be moved in, but we want to get it right. We don't want this just to be performative. We want to have the right language in. There were conversations about, do we want to add information in that already has some of the action items in, but I knew you were having meetings with the constituency group, so it might have taken too long, but we are I'm moving at the speed of expedition. And I wanted Gus to get with his team. I was getting with my team to make certain that we pulled everybody together to get it right, because the only conversations that I have heard is that we have not brought it forward. And Gus and I did not want to actually have that same narrative since we were both new in our position. So we are taking this serious. We do want to move it forward. We do want to have an action plan. The goal is to have it back by the 23rd. We don't want it to be half-baked. If we feel like we're at a stale point or a stalemate with some of the language, we will meet with you in advance so you can circle back with your constituency group. Because, again, we do want to get this right. So we can work behind the scenes to get this completed by the 23rd. We are in the middle of budget, so we want to make certain that we get the budget passed. That's our first priority, too. But we will make certain that we prioritize this task.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Good, thank you. Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, because actually that was the question I was going to ask the city manager, is what the realistic ability of bringing it by the 23rd is. And with that point, I'll second the motion. I mean, look, here's clearly there were 3 council members who believed that it was important to have an ordinance put forward together. The court ruling at the 9th Circuit was on April 22nd. That's 6 days ago. So, all of those ordinances that were passed months ago are going to be in question, whether they matter or not. And I think it's important for us between now and the 23rd to one, also check in to see what those cities, including the 34 cities that we have been working with in amicus briefs to sue the federal government, to see what their information are. I think it's important for us to have a collective point of view on what's our strongest point when we move an item forward. This is why our current 2017 resolution has held and helped us well. It's withstanded the courts. It's withstanded people who do not believe in this, and we have prevailed. So I think it's important that we do move this resolution forward, that we look between now and June 23rd whether there is a benefit or if there is a danger of passing an ordinance. I also don't want to pass something that if it doesn't pass legal muster or it complicates us, that could set this backwards. We have to stay on the offensive and moving forward on protection. So I'm willing to second that, so that we can consider and see
an ordinance.
Consider the ordinance and then see what those other cities are doing, because I'm sure that their attorneys are probably looking at, well, what does this mean for our ordinance? That 6 days ago there was a change of the law. So I think that's an important step for us to move forward. So I'll go ahead and second that. Let me end by saying I appreciate everyone's testimony, and I also appreciate everyone's frustration in this. But the bottom line is, what I have an interest in is, what is the deliverable? What are we actually achieving? And since we passed our first resolution, let's put it that way, we have been successful in court against the federal government. We have been successful in directing our city to look at the appropriate funding and also direction to our staff. And that is what that needs to be at the end game, is using every tool we can. If it's an ordinance, if it's a resolution, if it's a general order, if it is a practice that we have, whatever tool it is as well. I think we need to figure out whatever tool we can to move forward. So I'm willing to second your motion, Councilmember Vang, and thank you for that clarification, City Manager. And seeing what we can do, because if there is an opportunity to do some type of ordinance on this, then let's figure out what that looks like. But if the resolution has a higher and better return, then I think that's where we should prevail.
So that we can at least start moving on the items.
Oh yes, we have to start moving. I mean, here's the thing, that we shouldn't wait for the perfection for progress. There are things that can be done by passing this resolution that help us move forward. That's same thing with Friday, the action plan. We should move on that, because there are things that we can do now as long as we are taking steps forward. We have to just be making progress every single time. So with that, I'll second the motion and support the motion.
Great, and just for clarity, the motion is to approve this resolution with us submitting the Sacramento action plan and also exploring the ordinance option as well. I'd like us to explore that option. Okay, so we're in agreement with that.
My understanding is the motion also included coming back with an implementation.
Yeah, by June 23rd, before council recess, yes. Okay,
The important piece, I think, here is the implementation timeline.
yeah, thank you.
Clerk, is that clear? Yes, actually, the action is to adopt the resolution. The direction was to the city manager.
Correct. Okay, perfect. Councilmember Maple.
All right, thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I just want to say first, thank you to you, to the Mayor Pro Tem and to Councilmember Vang, because I know this has been a long process for you. I know that you have been in many, many meetings. You've been meeting with the community, you've been meeting with different organizations, and you've been trying to herd cats and get everything together within the bounds of what we have to do on the council, including the Brown Act and all of that. And so I know it's really challenging, and I know this is a very emotionally charged issue for a lot of good reason. I certainly hear from my constituents all the time about their fear, and it's something that I feel really strongly that we have to do. I was proud to support this in Law and Ledge. I'm proud to support this motion today. But I really want to give thanks to you three for the work that you've done and are going to continue to do on our behalf for the City Council. I also completely support your actions today in your press conference related to the action plan, because as many of the speakers have said, words are great, but what really matters is the implementation. What actions are we going to take? What are the timelines, as Councilmember Vang said? And really doing so with a sense of urgency is important. So I appreciate the city manager and the city attorney for their comments, because frankly, I was disappointed that it took We were very clear in law and ledge that it should be 30 days, and it took longer than 30 days. I recognize that there are a lot of reasons why that happened. But what's challenging for us and for the community is that we can't always get that information out. There's an expectation on us and on them. And so we should always try our best to meet that expectation. So I'm looking forward to this June 23rd date, us meeting that timeline and expectation. And then the last thing I want to say, because I know we have a very long, busy day, is during the meeting at the law and legislation, I also asked for information to come back from staff specific to data sharing through the Joint Terrorism Task Force. That is a question that has come up many times through public commenters and letters that we've received and so on, and I don't know the answer to it. Still, I don't know if any information is being shared through that task force, what that looks like. It is possible that none is being shared, and that's a great answer, but I would love to know the information. So I would love for that information to come back to this council as soon as possible, so that we can learn more about that task force and educate the public on that. And so with that, I will finish my comments. Thank you.
Councilmember Maple, can you provide me some clarification on the information you're looking for regarding the Joint Task Force?
Yes, so one of, and I think it's been in a couple letters from thank you, from Moise here at the Asian American Liberation Network, but also other organizations. So the question is SACPD, according to some of the speakers, participates in the Joint Terrorism Task Force. The question that they have and that I have is there any information sharing with immigration enforcement through that task force? Okay, thank you.
City Manager, you want to read that into the record? No one heard you. You said no, right?
No, I'm good.
Okay, never mind. Okay, thank you. Councilmember Kaplan.
Step one. This is step one. Because of the Brown Act, some of you know or don't know what this means. It means I've been entrusting my colleagues who have been leading on this, so I want to say thank you. I am about what can we do and challenge the next steps. I'm an attorney and I read a lot of history. And while I understand the law and what we are stepping into, if we move forward with an ordinance and challenging the law, what it looks like. And throughout history, the law has sometimes been used as a weapon against good people. And we watch every day when the federal administration is tearing down the rule of law, ignoring the rule of law. And I ask, what are we in the city of Sacramento doing to fight back? I am willing to stand up and push back and say we should challenge what our legal system says we can do. I understand that the job of our city attorney is to protect us and be conservative. My ask, stretch. I am willing to stand on the line of what is right and wrong and what may be legal and finding that loophole, not what's doing and what we need to do because it's conservative. I am not a poet, but I put together words from many who wrote during the 30s and 40s during World War II. You all know I am Jewish, so I am very aware of what history looks like when we do not fight, when we do not stand up against fascism and authoritarianism. So these words, which I am not a poet again, are inspired by the themes of resisting authoritarianism, protecting democracy, and confronting the misuse of the legal systems that are used to oppress. So I'm all for what can we do to push back and what does an ordinance look like. I named it the gavel and the chain. The law was meant to be a shield, a steady beam in the darkness of night. But now they wield it like a sword to cut the spirit, to kill the light. The chamber wears a solemn face while silence walks in chains outside. They've turned the halls of justice into a gated, desperate, fear-filled hide. With velvet words, they ink the act that turns a neighbor to a foe. They call it order, they call it rule, while planting seeds of ruin below. The parchment screams of broken trust. A gavel slams to quiet truth and steals the rights of honest individuals and robs the future from our youth. The law is not just what they write, and right is not just what they say. We know the heartbeat of the land that shines beyond the fastest day. For when the rule becomes a yoke and when justice sleeps in iron bands, we rise with voices calm and firm to hold the future in our hands. We are the ink, yes, us, council. We are the parchment of an ordinance. We are the ones to right the wrong. Let the law be broken down and built again, a noble song. The wall they build, no seal they set. We can hold the march of freeborn minds. We fight the quiet, cold decay, and leave the shadows far behind. So let's not let the irons of the rule of law be used against us for standing up and fighting for what's right.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Kaplan. Okay, seeing no other members to sign up to speak, so clerk, please do a roll call vote.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Kaplan. Aye. Councilmember Dickinson. Aye. Councilmember Pluckybaum. Aye. Councilmember Maple.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Aye.
Councilmember Jennings.
Yes.
Councilmember Vang.
Yes.
Mayor McCarty is absent. Vice Mayor Talamantes.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion passes.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so we have a public hearing right now for item 34. Item 35 and 36, the discussion calendar, we will move to a later date. We do have a 5 p.m. meeting and really important items to discuss, and these are review and comment. So thank you so much to our city staff for all your hard work. We will see you at a later date. With that being said, we do have SHRA that will be doing a presentation. Welcome, Christine and Kesha. And I'd like to open the public hearing for Creek at 2645 Apartments project.
Members, I'm Keisha Boulware, Deputy Executive Director of Development for SHRA. I am here today to hold the required Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act, or TEFRA, hearing, and upon its completion, seeking the adoption of a City Council resolution acknowledging that the TEFRA hearing has been conducted related to the acquisition and rehabilitation of the Creek at 2645 Apartments project. The developer is seeking the issuance of tax-exempt 501c3 bonds in an amount not to exceed $100 million to fund the acquisition and rehabilitation of a 368-unit multifamily development located just northeast of the intersection of Truxell and El Camino in Council District 3. SHRA has not issued 501c3 bonds in several decades, but they are permitted in the adopted multifamily lending and mortgage revenue bond policies. We typically bring forward developments that are financed with mortgage revenue bonds that are subject to the state's volume cap. Those types of bonds are typically layered with multiple soft funding sources that target deep affordability and are subject to a highly competitive process. As the competition for these mortgage revenue bonds and paired low-income housing tax credits has become more difficult, affordable housing developers are turning to other financing mechanisms. In this case, Art House Partners, the developer, is requesting the issuance of 501c3 bonds because this structure does not require an allocation of the state's limited volume cap and provides for the inclusion of higher income levels. For Art House to meet the terms of its purchase and sale agreement, they have requested that this project be fast-tracked and that we advance approvals in a two-step process. First, the TEFRA hearing today, and second, a bond inducement and approval of final documents. With the mortgage revenue bonds that we usually bring to council, the TEFRA and bond inducement are held at a single meeting. Advancing in a two-step process is more of the norm elsewhere. With a shortened time frame, SHRA's review of the project is not 100% complete today. However, staff is comfortable moving forward with the TEFRA public hearing at this time. SHRA is continuing its review of third-party reports, due diligence information, and documents received to date, and our construction staff has completed a physical inspection of the property. A second and final report to the Housing Authority and City Council will be presented in May, which will incorporate SHRA's full due diligence review and request approval of the bond documents. The bonds will be utilized to acquire and rehabilitate the Creek at 2645 apartments. 314 of the units, or 85%, will be restricted to households earning 80% of the area median income. 60 to 80%, it's a range. The remaining 54 units will continue to be rented at market rates. Exterior improvements will include balcony upgrades, roof repair, sidewalk repair, HVAC replacements as needed, and upgrades to amenities. For the interiors, units will be renovated as they turn over, minimizing tenant disruption. Interior improvements will include as-needed replacement of countertops, installation of luxury vinyl plank flooring, new paint, and other minor enhancements. All bond-funded capital improvements are projected to be completed within 36 months of bond issuance. Art House Partners will serve as the developer and asset manager with responsibility for organizing and executing the acquisition financing and operational oversight of the property for the initial 10 years. Integrity Housing, an experienced nonprofit affordable housing development company, will serve as the long-term owner-operator of the project. Property management and resident services are still being finalized, but the plans are to engage with firms that meet SHRA's guidelines. Staff, representatives from our bond council and representatives from Art House are available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much. We'll do a public comment first, and then I have a few questions. Okay.
Vice Mayor, I have one speaker, Reyes Taplin.
I promise not to take the full 2 minutes. So first of all, I just want to say, my name is Riaz Taplin. I'm the founder and CEO of Art House Partners. First of all, I want to take a moment, big thank you to Vice Mayor Talamatas and all of her work and her staff's work to bring this project to where it is today, and the team at SHRA for everything they've done, and the Office of the Mayor and the entire city organization has been an awesome collaborative process to date. So thanks so much. I also just want to take a moment to say thank you to everyone here, being here for the last few hours, what all of you do for your constituents on a daily, weekly basis is very honorable and very commendable, and there should be more people like you in this world. And it was just a nice reminder sitting here today, what it takes to fulfill and run a democracy at the local level. So thank you. I just want to tell you a little bit about me. I'm the founder and CEO of Art House Partners, as I mentioned. We are an entry-level housing company. So we work in the we were born out of the workforce housing space and now have migrated to the affordable space. We operate about 4,000 units, soon to be 5,000 units with all of your help, from Southern California up here to what will hopefully now be Sacramento. We're based out of Oakland, California, and we've spent about a decade very, very focused on how to serve and house middle-income households in urban and suburban environments, and have built a series of housing typologies around this idea. Over the last few years, we've now migrated from the idea of building housing to converting housing to affordability, and are very excited about the possibility of being here and serving the city of Sacramento. So thank you for your time, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you so much. And if you can stay up here, that'd be great. I'm going to have a few questions for you, but not yet. Is there any other public speakers?
Vice Mayor, that concludes the public comment.
Okay, great. Kesha, can you explain what the 501c3 bonds look like? I have some residents in my district that saw a business journal about this project, and they're like, hey, the city of Sacramento's in a budget deficit. How are they doing this? What does this mean? Can you explain what that process looks like?
Sure. First, want to emphasize that these are conduit bonds, so there's no financial obligation to the city or to SHRA. However, you do need a government entity to issue bonds. So similar to the other tax credit projects that we bring forth to you and are reviewed by the state, there's going to be a private purchaser, whether that be a bank or sold on the public market, who will do the underwriting, and it's our job as the conduit issuer to enforce the regulatory requirements. In this case, it's the affordability levels. It also provides you and the city an opportunity to ensure that those regulations are enforced. I'll pass it to either Christine or Paul if they want to enhance.
Yeah, Keisha, can you explain also what other government agencies could also issue these bonds?
It really, I'm going to let Paul tell me specifically, but it does not have to be the local jurisdiction. So if you could just emphasize, Paul.
Yeah, it can be, hi, Paul Tolan from Warwick. Thank you. It can be any government entity like a city, a county, a state. In addition, it could also be what they call a constituted authority, which is a group of cities and counties coming together to form a joint powers agency, and they are empowered under the Health and Safety Code to issue these 501c3 bonds, as is the Housing Authority of the City of Sacramento under a separate statutory regime.
Okay, thank you. And just for my colleagues, I wanted to make sure that we had some local control and local government like helping us with this project, which is why I engaged SHRA and started this whole process. So now a question for Art House. Actually, I have 4. Maybe you can introduce yourself.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Vice Mayor. My name is Sean Lettingham. I'm on the Art House team.
Okay, thank you. Can you tell me about the rehabilitation of units? How many of them will need rehab, and what does the timeline look like for that?
For sure. So most of the units have been rehabbed to some extent over the last 7 years of the current owner's ownership. About 38 units are in classic condition, so are unrenovated. We're planning more comprehensive renovations for those units. The rest of them are in a range of conditions that require kind of a more refined renovation plan. Per the bond issuance, we have 36 months to deploy upfront capital to rehab the units, so we're going to get as many as possible done in that time. We're not planning to do relocations for any that are not accomplished that time, and any that will occur after that, we're budgeting for in our replacement reserves.
And who's going to be the property manager of this?
We selected AMC Property Management, which SHRA knows well. They're one of California's leaders of affordable housing property management, and that's the main reason we selected them. They've done about 6,000 units of this mixed income affordable conversion property type in Northern California, so they're really experienced, and we're happy to work with them here.
Okay, and then what will programming exist, or what kind of programming will exist for the residents?
Yeah, well, we're retaining Project Access, which is an on-site resident services platform that will provide at least 20 hours per week of resident services, which includes at least 12 hours of after-school care during the school year, 12 to 14 events that are planned for financial literacy, adult learning courses, and other workforce housing plans, as well as some office hours and resident outreach. We also spoke with Stanford Settlement, and we're really impressed by their offerings. It's a little bit tricky to have 2 resident services platforms on the same property, and because Project Access is already there, we're distributing Stanford Settlement's materials and have agreed to provide an upfront donation to them.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yep,
That's about it that I have. Anything else, SHRA, that you guys would like to add? No? Okay, so for this project, it is 501c3 bonds and welfare tax exemption, which will come at a later date after SHRA has more time to complete the package. So we will be hearing this next month, which I have a lot more to say. But for now, we are running short on time, so I'd like to move this item.
And Vice Mayor, does that also include closing the public hearing?
Oh yeah, close the public hearing, move the item. And I think Councilmember Kaplan beat you, Councilmember Guerra. All right, and then I will do a roll call vote.
Thank you. So we have a motion by Vice Mayor Talamantes, a second by Councilmember Kaplan. Roll call, Councilmember Kaplan. Aye. Councilmember Dickinson. Aye. Councilmember Pluckybaum.
Aye.
Councilmember Guerra. Or Mayor Pro Tem. Councilmember Jennings.
Yes.
Councilmember Vang.
Yes.
Councilmember Maple and Mayor McCarty are absent. Vice Mayor Talamantes.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. Moving along to matters not on the agenda and council comments. Actually, council comments, ideas, questions. Any AB 1, 2, 3? No? Seeing none? Okay, public comments, matters not on the agenda.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I have 7 speakers: Lambert, Emily Cashton, Kyle Williams, Michael Milton.
I think it's time for, and I hope the Sacramento Bee is paying attention in the media, I think it's time to start monitoring City Councilman Pluckybaum. He's late a lot, and he also leaves the rostrum a lot. There's no reason for that. If you have to go to the restroom, that's one thing. I was a big fan of Katie Valenzuela. She never left the rostrum unless she had to go do something. He was late today. He came back late. He voted while he walked in. That's a dereliction of duty. He should not be paid for that. You should be sitting in that seat. Most of you rarely leave the seat. That's a big stickler for me. If you're going to be paid to be here, be here. I don't get paid for being here, but I'm here. And I never get cut off because I respect the rules and procedures of this chamber. Now, just a suggestion to the city manager, it's becoming more of a habit now. You don't want to go down the same path as the previous city managers. They continuously violated the Brown Act. I've been to many Brown Act meetings, and whenever something's on the agenda, you're supposed to acknowledge it. If you don't acknowledge it, that's a violation of the Brown Act. And I'm trying to help you because the others didn't care. As a matter of fact, somebody just left here, and I'm glad because that'll be less money on the bottom line. And I'll end by saying that's a serious thing to not be up on that roster. And I also noticed the city attorney was gone. You got to make sure you have a quorum.
Next speaker is Emily, then Kyle Williams.
A little housekeeping first. I called my district councilman, his assistant, the clerk, and emailed them over 4 days and got no response on how long this statement is to be. Online, it says 3 minutes. I've got a prepared statement for that time period, if you'll bear with me. I'm Emily Cashton. My husband and I have lived in a 97-year-old subdivision in East Sac for 42 years. I approached council hoping that a very broken building review process and record-keeping system can now be thoroughly reviewed and fixed. No property owner should go through the 21-year nightmare that we did. We purchased our house in 1984 with title and city documents supporting that this property, surveyed in 1929, built in 1930, was 54 feet wide, having a 5-foot side setback, a detached garage with previously established fences, as was typical in this area. Recently, much has changed. Neighbors living amicably until 2005, when new owners moved in, began gutting their house interior with an electric line to a makeshift shop, all without permits, creating a dangerous, unsafe, unprotected site. No neighbor spoke up except me, who called Josh Pino, head of code enforcement. The city found the site unsafe and hazardous, leveling it to a lot. Depositions identified that Mr. Pino had private business dealings with these owners, and he was not terminated but lateraled to a similar position in Oakvale. These owners sued us for whistleblowing, adding a lot line dispute. A Corrales survey was done with the courts finding it riddled with errors, removing it from record, stating it had no legal standing. New owners built a house on the lot with no valid survey or any factual identification of corner points. 5 years ago, the current owners sued us again for this same lot line. They hired Mr. Hannon, who placed stakes, writing he had surveyed the property. No survey was done, and he had to remove the stakes. 2 new surveys occurred citing problems in locating original monuments.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Thank you for your comments. I do have your notes, and I'll make sure the council gets those. Next speaker is Kyle Williams. No, ma'am. Everyone gets 2 minutes. The next speaker is Kyle Williams. I will make sure that the council members get your notes. Kyle?
So the public cannot hear this. Is that
Correct.
Will you have this online so the public can review it?
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
Mr. Williams?
How is everybody today? Hey, there's an A's game tonight, 6:40. And you can get cheap tickets if you got StubHub or Game Time or some of the other things. A buddy of mine got an $8 ticket. FYI. Katie Venezuela told everybody in my neighborhood one thing and did another. So Phil Pluckenbaum, thank you for being here. Equality, I'm that guy that's equality, real equality. Women were down here in 1910. Now they're up here. We need to get to here, folks. We need to get to where men and women are equal. And I know in the democratic world, equality is something you talk about, but I don't know if you really practice it. And you guys are all Democrats up here, right? Yeah. Anyway, I thank you for being involved, though. I find about every 10,000th person that I know does something outside of their job and their house and their neighbor. So thank you very much for your service. And to do what you're trying to do with this ICE issue, which is big, and I get it, but if this was in Grass Valley, the results would be completely different. So I just want everybody to be reminded. How many independents and Republicans are in the audience? If you don't mind raising your hand. No? I'm the only independent.
Sir, you got to speak to the mayor and council.
Everybody else is a Democrat. So anyway, I just wanted to make a point that it's all, for the most part, a Democratic audience. So of course everybody thinks that you guys should vote their way. So in your defense, Mr. Dickinson, and everybody else up here, Mrs. Smith, half of the country's not feeling this way. And it's a lot against the T word, right? Most other administrations followed the law and it, instilled ICE. It's just not popular right now. So my hat's off to you. It's a tough decision.
Next speaker is Michael Milton, then Elatre Gregory, then Devontae Morris. Michael? Following Michael is Elatre Gregory. Please proceed.
All right, y'all. Yeah, I'm Michael Milton. I know everybody know me. But today, I feel like Ice-T. And Miss Kaplan, that's my partner, like dun 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 dun. Law and Order, baby. Okay, you feel me? Because the mayor is a terrible plot. You feel me? He's stealing from the homeless and the poor. You feel me? Blue Shield and Kaiser gave SHRA $45 million, and the mayor was a part of SHRA at that time. Then, right after that, Mary Liz, she went on vacation for 3 years. Right now, they talking about let's give the power of the trust fund, number 15, to let's give the power of the trust fund to Mary Liz or whoever's on the top of SHRA. So with her just been going for 3 years and SHRA being closed for 3 years and no money was being built, no apartments was built and nothing was happening, then we came back with these tiny home plans, and now we want to just throw her in the bank after she just ran off for 3 years and didn't build nothing would be crazy. And if you got to be a part of it if you're not saying something about it, or if you don't see that something criminal is going on. With Mr. Pedro, because Mr. Pedro was the first thing a part of the tiny homes things, and she came back with the tiny home idea from Santa Barbara when she came off of her break from the $45 million that she took from Sacramento. Everybody didn't benefit from that money. There was no apartments built. It was only warehouses. And just like police give tickets and you get a quota on the ticket, that's what's going on with these shelters. And then the one over here, the main one, the Gathering Inn that they're trying to base things after now, they get you in there and they kick you out real quick. And they got a plot to put you out because they try to put you in tests and do little classes.
Thank you for your comments. Alatria Gregory, Devontae Morris, then Marbella Sala. And sir, we'll have a break in about 5 minutes. Alatria? I don't see anybody. Devontae? Following Devontae is Marbella.
Hello, my name is Devontae Morris. On Facebook, my name is Devontae Morris. On Instagram, my name is Jodeci Boy. I've commented on your comment sections, District 7, District 5, and Vice Mayor and Mayor about the issue with regional transit yesterday. So please read your comment section. I'm a real person in the flesh, not fake. You talk about a plan on giving black people reparations and lifting us up, but then you want to lock us up for evading transit fare. You want to fund $9 billion for a high-speed rail, but act like you don't have funds to fund regional transit systems and have people locked up for evading transit fare. You want to brag about California being the 4th largest economy in the world, and yet you don't want to fund regional transit systems so that people can get to work in places they need to go. SAC PD and the Sheriff's Department needs to stay off the light rail system unless it's a real emergency. I'm done. Check your comment section.
And Marbella is our final speaker this afternoon.
Me again. So I ran out of time and I couldn't say this, but on Friday, May 1st, at Southside Park, is the day without an immigrant. And so I ask you, if you can't miss work, because there is going to be a rally and they're asking people to not go to work, not spend money at all on that day, I really encourage you to do that and support immigrants, because we want to let the country know what it would be like not to have immigrants here in this country. That's it. Thank you.
Vice Mayor, I have no more speakers this afternoon.
Okay. All right, we'd like to adjourn this meeting at 5:03 p.m. and we will be back in council chambers at 5:15.